Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
It's the house!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, thanks, Richard Watts. Are the two girls family? Yeah, they're family to the Will. I don't know. You know what's weird is I feel like they feel like they're family to a lot of us. I mean, I know the German side of the family pretty well. Don't really know Abigail's mom. She was a little bit more private. It's like Blue's hanging out back there. But you know, that's just kind of what it feels like over the years, you know, sort of talking about the case, going over it. All right. So what's going on, everybody? I've lost a few subs from my last video. That's okay though. I'm not like somebody that's like, please like my channel. Oh my God, if you don't like my channel, oh God. You know, I just, you know, I'm gonna tell you how I feel and what the truth is, regardless of being liked. All right. Thank you, Karen and Annabella Roma. And the truth is, this case is a case where the evidence put forth so far at trial should easily be enough for people to go, oh, Richard Allen's guilty. Oh yeah, he did it. Yeah, he was treated, you know, let's just say he was treated like crap, you know, in prison. It's irrelevant to the fact that when he confessed, he was totally calm and rational. And it wasn't until after his first confessions that he became like where you're filming him, he's just been treated like, oh my God, it's wild. Look at this stuff. And he started doing crazy things. And that's because after he confessed, his wife called his attorney, and voila! I agree with all the officers and the psychologists that said they believe he's faking it. You know, and one of them said, well, they weren't sure later on. Because maybe later on he really did get a little crazy, right? I mean, if you were somebody that you killed two girls and you were trying to get it off your chest and just kind of start moving forward and try to redeem, you know, get any kind of redemption there is left of your life, he wasn't allowed to do so by his wife and his attorneys. Okay? He wasn't allowed to. He basically begged them, please believe me, I did this thing, man. I did this. I did it. You know, please believe me. Will you still love me though? And they're like, of course. And he goes, okay, I did this. I just want you to know. No, you didn't, man. No, you didn't. And then probably over time, his attorneys convinced him he didn't do it because, boy, this is a meal ticket type case, man. It's one of the biggest cases out there. We think we can get you off. I bet you Richard Allen has confessed to him, as I said before on other shows. I bet you Richard Allen has confessed to both attorneys. And they said, hey, Richard, listen. You know, your time, you can always apologize to God at a later time. All right, we think we can get you off here. And then they sort of set him down the route of a different direction. I think at some point he started to, that's when he started acting out crazy, doing all that weird stuff to be convincing, because they needed all those things. See, don't you think it's amazing that they have this little intern guy, and all of a sudden there's these videos that right after he confessed, there's these ones where he looks crazy and he's acting out, and then of course he's treated differently, like they put a bag on his head because he was spitting on people, things like that. And is it really being treated badly when you do that, or is that just what that happens to you? Right? I mean, don't kill 2 little girls. How about that? I don't know. You read the comment section and people are they say such ludicrous things. You read them and you just go, what? What case are you watching? Which one are you watching here? Or who are you watching? It's weird. I didn't know what you were talking about when you said people are bashing the Patties and Kelsey. I came across some this weekend. It's really unfortunate we live in that kind of world.
People were bashing the Patties and Kels. I came across some this weekend.
Right.
It's really unfortunate we live in that kind of world.
Yeah. Well, the thing is I had 3 or 4 comments under my last video. You know what they said? Nobody's bashing the family but you, Gray. Have I ever bashed the family? Seriously? I'm not a big fan of Carrie, but that has nothing to do with that was years ago, something like that. I back the family and I support Carrie here. I bet you Carrie wants Richard Allen to be found guilty. Okay? Kelsey and Carrie, they had their own little issues and so forth, and I agreed with Kelsey's point of view there. All right? Totally agreed with her. So that's irrelevant. That's just sort of this random thing that has nothing. But they said, you're the one bashing about it. I bet you there's an entire industry on YouTube bashing the family. How many of you guys seen it? Those people are, like I said before, are just, the lowlifes of the world. But they think they're so sleuthy and onto something. Yeah, it's Kelsey, right? Because there was a hair. And somebody, what somebody literally wrote under the last video? They said, I think he's guilty too, but listen, I'm a woman and I've never put a sweatshirt on and had a hair in my hand. What the hell are you talking about? My God. I'm a guy and I've had hair in my hand. How about if you had blood on your hands? Well, she didn't have blood on her hands, so I don't know why, it's just there when you put your hands through the sleeves. Maybe they were wet, something. No, it's weird that you haven't seen it till now. Hey, thanks, Nina Armstrong. These people have been attacking the family. See, here's what I'll tell you guys. A lot of you are probably just now newly kind of really invested in the case again or something. And I can tell you that there have been people attacking the family for years in this case. And they just keep doing it over and over and over and over again, and it never goes away. It's the same thing. Hey, thanks, Nina Armstrong. And I'm somebody out there that goes after those people on my show, and then I get attacked. You know what they say? Gray, why do you attack other creators? Because they're idiots and irresponsible. Do you get it? Why is that okay? I try to do, I'm just saying, the true crime genre that gets destroyed by those people should be in some, sort of fictional, weird category somewhere. And I don't know what category you'd call it, but they really don't give a crap. Don't even know what's going on. You get pissed and banned when people attack them. Yeah. I agree about the true crime destroyers. It's just, there's this idiot, true crime benign, or insane, I would call her. She makes these videos, and she's been doing it for years on Kelsey. And I knew it. I even said it on my show, if you guys remember. I said, watch, that hair found in Abby's hand, once they said it's Kelsey, that's going to open up a whole can of worms with these people that have been attacking him. They're going to go, ooh, evidence, finally. Yeah. Thanks, Elaine Talling. But when it comes to Delphi, I can't listen to anyone. Yeah, right. Well, I cover all the cases the same, by the way. So you might want to reconsider if those same people that you listen to are covering Delphi in that other way. How are they misleading you when you're listening to other cases? You might want to consider that, Jeannie. Hey, thanks, Cheryl Bullock.
I'll be Chewbacca if you want me to.
I am so offended by this Chanel.
Yeah. And there's a lot of channels like that. That's just one of them. A friend of mine sent me a whole bunch of the different channels. And by the way, you guys, I might be on, this is going to sound crazy, but I might actually be on Nancy Grace's podcast. We'll have to see how that goes. Because, believe it or not, she believes the same thing I do on this case. That's pretty wild, isn't it? You know, it's like, hey, finally there's something. Well, pretty weird, huh? Anyways, I need a band sound bit. What do you mean, what? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of times I haven't agreed with stuff that she said, but in this case, I'm more than happy to. I feel like there's so few people that are actually on the same page, and I think I'm actually kind of similar in a way to her, where you just sort of say what you think, despite, you know. I think what's weird? I think there is a power dynamic in Richard Allen and Kathy Allen's marriage, where Kathy Allen holds more power over Richard Allen. I don't know. It's hard to know what's going on there. Annabella Roma. Thank you. How's it going, Paulette Leonard? I know it doesn't sound like, it's not something I would normally do, but I definitely will do it on this one. I'll just see how it goes. I've never been on there. I'm sure it's kind of similar to... Yeah, there's... You know, I've been pretty critical of her over the years, but we'll see. Just on other cases like Kanika Jenkins, and things like that. Because Kanika Jenkins was she walked into a freezer accidentally and got locked in, and she died. There was no other nefarious activity. I had the entire surveillance. The second they say, oh, Kelsey or the family did it, automatic block, 0 time. Yeah, it's... And I'm going to tell you right now, is the family, and especially the Germans, nobody ever really goes after Abby's family at all. I would say that they absolutely have lawsuits against probably 15, 20 different YouTubers out there with absolutely defamatory information that has caused incredible just, duress, and there's people that are angry at them. They probably don't feel safe because these people put this stuff out, and they're absolutely false. Provably false. Yeah, there's one here. Who cares? Up they went. Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking they should. I don't know if they're going to, but they should sue those people. And absolutely, I mean, yeah, they deserve it. I mean, they are some of the worst people that you'd ever imagine. You go over there, and the scary part is you go over there, and you're watching, and you're listening, and you're just kind of, I'm just trying to see what the hell, like, why in the hell are they saying this stuff? And you listen to it, and it's so nonsensical. One little element drives this massive conspiracy, and then you look at people in the comments that are even worse, that sit there and go, ooh, wow, you're so great, so-and-so. You put out the best videos. Wow, I've always thought that, blah, blah, blah. And it goes on and on. Every single comment, hundreds of them in a row. And it just shows you the degradation of society. How these people either are brain dead themselves or they just believe anything somebody tells them. It's sick. Yeah, let's see. If they wanted to a fall guy, they would pick Ron Logan, or I'm sure they could have found a way to get Keegan Kline in there. But here's why Keegan Kline and Richard Allen, and not Richard Allen, and Ron Logan weren't the fall guys, because they couldn't find an element that went, oh, okay, there you go, boom, places them at the crime scene. They couldn't do that with Ron Logan. Ron Logan's property, you could almost say, the crime scene's on his property, but he was never at the crime scene. There's no linkage there. Certainly there would have been blood somewhere at his house. I mean, Ron Logan's not some mastermind of, forensics. He said he was the law enforcement told Kline that he was supposed to meet. He told somebody. Apparently one of Libby's friends contacted the Anthony Shots profile and said, hey, did you hear what happened to Abby and Libby? And they said, oh my God, what? I was supposed to meet him that day, but they never showed up. So we don't know if he really said that or not. That's what the detectives told him that other account said. And then maybe they were hoping that he would implicate maybe his dad or something. I don't know. But hey, guys, let's get some new channel members here. And don't forget to help support the channel. You guys are the only source of income on these live streams. Like Sandy Shirley right there. Thank you very much. Or who work with Nancy Grace say she's nice. Not same as her online persona. You have a lot in common. Yeah, well, I mean,
nice. Not same as her online persona.
I've heard that too.
A lot in common.
I think that does matter. Yeah, I mean, my online persona is, I mean, I guess I'm different in person because it's just, there's nothing confrontational about what we're talking about. Hey, thanks so much, Nina Armstrong. And look at that. She gifted 5, then Mark gifted 1. So we got Ruben Macias, Anna 980, Graham M, Tania Giles, Scott Edwards, and Country Boy 2280. I wonder how many of those people hate this channel but were just watching. Anyways, thank you guys so much. And Nikki N. I love, what I hate the most, you guys, is these people use the term justice for Abby and Libby while they sit there and try to free the person who killed them. Okay? Justice for Abby and Libby while they try to put every argument possible out there to try to free them. I mean, does that make any sense to anybody? They don't believe, I know that some of these people do not believe that somebody other than Richard Allen did it. Okay? I know that. I think that they're just doing it because they've looked at these polls that are out there and it's like 60-20 and they're just so excited to get a lot of views and subs from it. I mean, I lost like 8 subs. I gained 5 on the video, but lost 8 overall. So that means negative like 13 or something, maybe even more, because they saw my title and went, God, Gray, you don't have to cut people down. Hey, I don't know what else to say it, man. I think that these defense team people that are doing YouTube right now have zero integrity. They know when they're seeing this evidence out there that it absolutely points to Richard Allen all the way through. He confessed, and they still try to, weave a story back to their viewers that, oh, wow, look at this now. And they just mumbo jumbo shit. Makes no sense, but they say it in a way that makes sense to their people. But when you actually just listen to it, it's like, yeah, no, because you missed this part, and this part. Yeah, they're just, yeah, exactly, edgy. Hey, thanks, Cheryl. He also said he killed his family, though. Yeah, you know what he's saying when he's saying that. It's like metaphorically. He said he killed his best friend and his wife, you know. Because he's thinking he destroyed their lives. That's what he's saying. At least that's what I get from it. You can, you know, think, oh my God, he's coming up with this crazy. Hey, look at Blue, man. He's moving around a little bit. You might think that there might be a meal coming or something. I don't know. He kind of cut his nose somehow, though. It was weird. I don't get to chat much. Always busy on my farm. I was going to look at some stuff in here. Like I drove from Richard Allen's house to the abandoned CPS building, and I got it to be like it was. I had 10 minutes going this back way, which is totally, you know, for a back way, that's pretty good, right? So you get this out right here. Go to Richard Allen's house, which is right this one, and then you get directions. Click on there, then probably right here, then add a destination, and then I think he took 400 north, so I would actually just go right there, and then from here over to the abandoned CPS building. So right here. Alright, and right there it says 12 minutes. So 6.1 miles. That's how I think he went, just like that. Now, I'm sure you could do that in like 10 minutes or less if you just, you know, you're not driving 30 miles an hour the whole way. Hey, thanks, Nina Armstrong. Gray, but all the Odinists did on the trailer dressing like Dick Allen. On the trail, yeah. Odinist, my left foot. Richard Allen's bridge guy, killer. Yeah, notice how all the Odinist stuff that they wanted to sell is gone. Now they're pushing something else. So which one was it? So now let me guess. So there was really Odinist that killed him, and his confessions were all because he was tortured in prison. I see. But now they've left the Odinist story out because they can't use it. Yeah, so that's the route right there. That's 11 minutes. Is there anything else you guys want to figure out on here while we're looking at this? This is the way I think he went there. That's why he drove by the Hoosier Hardware store coming from this direction, and it's also really secluded. There wouldn't, you know, you're not going to be on camera too many times, if any, driving that route. And then you park there, and then he didn't bring his phone with him. What did somebody write in the comments? It was just nuts about the phone. It was just, what? Can't use Odin defense in court, though. Right, that's what I said. I pray you don't have daughters. Who? Somebody up there. Great! I love that. Oh, you have no idea what I can drag or pick up, especially when I'm mad. I'm not sure what you're talking about, truthfully. Who are you talking to? Thank you, the myth. Now, let's see how long it takes to get home from from the abandoned CPS building. The other direction. So if you're right here, directions, and right here, then he would have to go like that, and then let's see, they're right here on Main Street, yeah, and then I think you can just go right to his house from here. So right here. Ah, they went that way. Wow. So he turned around on the highway. God, what if he did that? See, that's interesting. I was wondering if that's possible. So forget this one, then. He probably went like this. Let me clear this all out of here again. Wow, that's awesome. So he went from right here to, he would have came down, and then I'd just say from right there, just go right to his house, and then it should come to the quickest way. Oh, now they go downtown. That's hilarious. I mean, so there's another way to go, but this way would be the smartest way, wouldn't it? Look at that one. Man, that's crazy. Yeah, I think that one makes the most sense. It's 7 minutes. It's the same distance. Hey, thanks, Gem Shoe. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks. I'm going to have the same kind of coverage in the Idaho 4 case. It might even be better because there's more information in that one. And I've got that thing dialed in, so make sure to, when that one's going on, to be here, because I live kind of closer to that, so I can probably go there and do different things. And look at this right here, you guys. Doesn't this make sense? He leaves like this, and then he takes a left and just gets right on the highway. And then look at that. I mean, both ways, you're not detected at all. And he comes around, and then goes like that, and then boom, right back at his house. That's wild. I think that one, why did he do it? Why does for sexual reasons. Hey, look at Nina Armstrong's going for a wave. Who's joining tonight? Who's joining? Got a ways to go until I can give out the 5 memberships, but wave anyone, she said. Yeah, the Idaho case is the same. It's the same kind of evidence. It's probably a little even stronger in that one, because they do have the DNA on the buckle of the knife sheath that was found inside the house, and it was left on the buckle of the knife sheath in a 10-minute window, or 15, or let's see, 8, 20, yeah, 12-minute window, where a white Elantra was parked outside the front after doing 4 laps, and then the white Elantra sped away at 4:20 after getting there at 4:08. So in a 12-minute period, the person killed all 4 people in the house, leaving the knife sheath, then drove away. Got it all dialed in. Then his phone pings heading out south of Moscow. Hey, thanks Kelly S. and Allie Cake and Gem Shoe all jumping on the wave. Let's pray the right person gets charged. You couldn't see any dang fish from... You could, though. No, you can, Jason. Just saying. I've been there. It's clear enough where you could see a fish. That day, though, you couldn't, which is interesting. On that very day, it was very murky, and there was no way you could see a fish. But I've been there. You can stand on the bridge. It's clear water. And when it's clear, you can definitely see into the water. And if there was if it wasn't a minnow, you could see it. That part of the story, he was just saying another reason why he went there. I don't think he was thinking, there's no way you could see a fish. I'm inventing this. Can you see people on the bridge from the road? No. No, you can't. Hey, thanks, Mia Pierce, and welcome. Keeping an eye peeled. But I know what you're saying. Let me show you what it looked like, though, on that day, just so we can... Let's see. It was... I've got this massive folder. It's just got so many different... Sometimes I just want to go through and see what the hell I've got in there. I'm going to find the image that Cheyenne took. This one right here. Yeah, see that? So this is that day, Jason up there. Was that you, Jason, that said that? No, I don't remember who said that. I can't remember. But look at, that's what it looked like that day. He's not looking at any fish, But that's easily overcomable by just saying, no, I went there to look at fish. I didn't say I saw any fish. So he's looking in the water, and that's what it looked like, because she took that picture at 3:15, almost, that's an hour and 15 minutes later. So you see it right there. Somebody else pointed that out the other day. I hadn't really thought of like looking at the murkiness. I was always looking at the shadow on the bridge. You know, by the way, maybe we should take a look at that. We haven't done that in a while. Let's see, which one is it? Is it this one? Let's sort this and see which one's date. And then sort by date. We can open up the 3D Studio Max file that I have and see if it matches what they're saying. Hey, thanks Susan Moore and Chapara and Naomi and Karen. You guys are awesome, thanks. And look at that, Chapara, member for 23 months. Wave. Is that how you say it? Chapara? Pretty cool, pretty cool. Alright, let's see if this one will do it right here. This might be good enough. Alright. We're going to open up 3D Studio Max here, another version of it. Because I've already have the other one open, so I have to open up a second one. And everybody, make sure you get out and vote. Alright? I'm not telling you who to vote for, but just get out and vote. It's coming up. Michelle H. For the selection? Oh, for this election? I'm not. I think it's going to be good. All right, open up, open up. But you never know what kind of shenanigans might be going on. We in Portland here, we actually had one of our poll places set on fire. I mean, it's crazy. In the boxes, so ballots actually got destroyed that were already turned in. So I made these years ago. This is like, okay, so if you look at this, see how it's north-south oriented? The crime scene is right there. This is the bridge. And so what I've done is like, Cheyenne's photograph is like this, okay? And I think this is actually it. I think that's what I was doing with this. Yeah, there you go. So this is Cheyenne's photograph, and see, there it is right there. And there, see the beam and the way the shadow is right there? How it's not going straight off. Like, for example, if it was going perpendicular to the bridge, you wouldn't see it get wider, 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 and then kind of go out like that. So in this program, it's really cool. If you guys are interested, let me show you. We've got this daylight system, and when you go inside of it, there's like this setup over here, and inside there I have February 13th 2017 -5, and then it's not daylight savings time right now. Well, it is during February though, I think, right? Is February 13th daylight saving time? Let's see. Is February 13th daylight savings time in Indiana? No, February 13th is not daylight. Okay, perfect. So that's how I have it. I have it set to, it's -5 GMT. Okay, and it's not daylight savings time. And so that works. And it's February 13th, 2017. And then I have this set right now at 2:13. So that's the time at the end of the bridge. So I guess what we do if we want to see what that looked like is take this camera and see I have a character standing there on the bridge. And then when you render that, you can kind of just see, you know, basically how the shadow is. There's no sky or anything. It just puts the sun in the right position. But you'll see how the same effect here. See how you can see the shadow? Can you guys see that? Look how narrow that line is. But it does go up onto the side railing. See, that's how narrow it is, so it's hard to see the shadow because of the angle that the camera shot at. It's very narrow. And when the guy's on the bridge, it's hard to see his shadow. Hey, thanks, Nina Armstrong. Keep calm, vote, and support. That's right, and support Gray. There you go. That's the... Oops. All right. So what we're trying to look at is, let's see if Cheyenne, what time Cheyenne's photo. So let's render this one really quick. Now look at 2:13. See how that shadow down there does not match in the water? It goes over here at an angle. So let's pull out her shot again. See how the shadow goes like that, right? Can you guys all see that? How the shadow goes more out to the right. I just want everybody to be following along here. Yep, a lot of RNs. Can you see it, you guys? Learn something new here. Like, try to pay attention to this one. So the software program I have it on the right day, the right time zone, and everything. So you can see that, and this is obviously going to be perpendicular to the bridge, right? So here we go. We go up in the air, and now let's change the time, because that was set at 2:13. So that, of course, that girl was there later, Cheyenne. So let's put it at 15:15, and apparently that is when she, I think, on the way across the bridge, she turned around and took this picture. So let's see. Now let's watch the shadow on this one. Okay, well that one's better. See how it's kind of, it's going this way and extending away from the stand. I don't know if you can see it, but you can definitely see that's the shadow line right there. See that? And it goes like this, and then it goes back and meets there. The other one was not that. So let's see if I make that, like, let's just say 30. It should make it even more. Yeah, see, now it's extending out even more, and it goes out to here. And you know what's interesting is that it's like there's the pile of crap in the water there too, and that's even in the same photograph. So it's going like that. It's hard to tell. See, it gets narrower there, and this bundle of sticks and stuff make it wider, and it would just be this narrow thing. So I don't know. That one seems like it's closer to 3:30. Looking at that right here. See that? It goes like that. So it feels like that's right, 3:30, but 3:15 could be right also. So this is, I've actually used this program for different cases out there, and I've really, you know, I was even on Court TV one time for Naomi Arion, where there was like the surveillance footage of a car driving away, and nobody told us what time it was. So what I did was I got Google Earth. I knew exactly where the surveillance camera was and where the car was, and then you could see the shadow of the car on the road, and then I kept adjusting it until we got the right time, and it turns out it was like 8 hours later. I mean, it was like, it was amazing. It was, I think, like right around 3:30 or something that we got. And then when the final report came out, we nailed it. It was right on there. And it actually helps you develop a theory because you have to include that in there. Yeah, that was like the, I think it was maybe Nevada. Yeah, it was somewhere around that area. She was a girl that was waiting at to get a shuttle to work in the morning, and some guy just got into her car and abducted her and then killed her. I mean, it was just unbelievable. Freaky. I don't know what that means. It's just me. Was he expecting them to be there or seize an opportunity? I don't know. You know, my original theory was he seized an opportunity. He hunted until somebody fell into his his trap, and then the other one was that he went there hunting, for 2 specific people. And then somebody in their comment section said something like, how could he have been? I mean, there's comments that just don't make sense, when you read them. It's just weird. I don't think so. I don't think he gets out if it's a hung jury. Yeah. It seems like now that he was hunting, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so I thought this was a pretty cool way to figure stuff out at the time. And everything was really consistent. So, I mean, you can even render it from up here. So if I render this scene, you'll see the direction the shadow's going. It's actually better looking at it like this. Obviously the side rails aren't quite right and stuff like that. It's kind of irrelevant for this. Man, my computer's working hard on that one. There you go. Look at the angle of the sun. That's at 3:30. Yeah, sure, 3:15. Yeah, you can see it right there. But isn't it interesting? See how you can clearly see the angle of the sun on that shot right there? But watch when you get a shot, the same angle, or a different angle, but from the same time, and you render that one, and watch this. You can't tell at all. It's just a straight line shooting across, and then you have to use the railroad ties and see if the angle is similar. So you kind of like zoom in, see that's the same shadow, but now it's very difficult to see. Now what you could do is, if on the real photo, see how there's these lines? Those are railroad ties. And then you see it going like that, and then maybe you can determine that that one's off to the right a little bit, not matching those. But anyways, it's it's been kind of a cool tool to use. But what do you guys think about this? When he left the abandoned CPS building, he comes down, takes a left, and gets on this highway. And then you're not really seeing, you're not going through town again, and then comes down here and drives up and pulls in like that. He doesn't go through downtown on Main Street like that. I think that makes sense. Hey, make sure to hit that like button, you guys. I mean, it's kind of rude to show up in here and have 952 people and 274 likes. Does that make any sense to anybody? So let's go ahead and hit that like button, right? I notice when people go into like Lauren or her show on Hidden True Crime, they just hit the like button right when they walk in. I mean, it's like the show just starts. There's 3,000 people watching and 1,500 likes. When I do a show, I get it. I have 900 people watching and 200. Does that make any sense? Come on, you guys. Hit that like button, hit that like button, 10, 20, 25, 30. Hit that like button, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. Hit that like button, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90. Use your nose, use your toes, whatever blows. Hit that like button, hit that like button. I don't really think you're rude if you don't hit it. You just didn't hit it. You forgot. I'm backwards. I hit on the way out. Oh, well, why not just hit it on the way in? Because you might forget on the way out. Watching your videos. Thank you for all your hard work. Well, hey, no problem. No problem. So for all the people out, look at, I just lost about 70 people because I did the auctioneer. What a bunch of losers. Hey, thanks, Nina Armstrong. All right. Gray, maybe they just didn't like it. They don't want to be told to hit the like button, you bastard. Jesus. And by the way, my imitations are, you know what they are? They're because that's real. That's really what people say and type in the comment section. Come on, keep on. Hey, listen, if you don't like the show, keep on leaving, you guys. Keep on going. We're down to 8:13. We're up to 9:50. Keep going. Hey, and go ahead and leave the show. Go ahead and leave the show. Nobody cares. Leave the show. Nobody cares. Leave the show. Leave the show. Leave the show. If you don't like the show, don't watch the damn thing. Nobody cares if you're here. Don't be the one of the people that says, hey, everybody, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Nobody cares. All right. But great. All right, now we're down to 772. Let's keep going. Hey, take off, take off, take off, take off. Leave the show, leave the show, leave the show. Who cares? Who cares? Let's get it down to the normal people, the actual people who give a damn. Take off, take off, take off. All right, thank you. All right, now we're down to 772. Let's keep going. 759, and keep going. 759. Let's get 758. 758. Do I hear 758? Ah, damn it, it's frozen. It stopped there. God, that's just unbelievable. Man, 200 people. Gosh, Gray, don't tell me to hit the like button. I see 703 now. 703, 703. Yeah, we're going to get that down. We got to get that into the 600s quick. And it just shows you how many trolls actually show up. You know, the only people that would leave that quick are trolls. They're the ones that are like, they came in here to attack, 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 and then it just didn't work out for them, so they... No, that's not really me saying that, Amanda. That's an actual auctioneer that I talk over while he's auctioneering. It's pretty good though, right? I think that guy might be one of the best auctioneers that there ever was. That's why I took a little bit of it. He actually has he'll tell you how he does it too. It's pretty interesting. Well, this is what it actually sounds like. Listen.
I'm fired out of it, 10 down, 15, all of I better dung beard on 15, I better dung beard on 15, 20, I better dung beard on 15, better dung beard on 20, down 5, better dung beard on 30, and 30, and 30, 25, better dung beard on 30, you want to put 30, sir, 25 of them, you're out.
That guy's so good. I actually just listen to him sometimes for an hour, just because it's like, it's like mesmerizing. It's crazy. Yeah. Don't let the door hit you. That's right. I know, isn't it amazing, Gareth? That's why I just listened to him for so long one night, because it's just amazing. He's the best one I've ever heard by a mile. We just had a troll try to call you guys. All right, anyways, hey, you guys, you want to do a call-in? Should we do it? Here we go. Where the hell's the number? 20, sir. Do I hear 20, sir? Alright, there's the number right there. I want you to tell me some of the stuff you've seen out there. And the theories that they've got. Let's see if we can debunk those. Do you ever notice that the other side, you know, whatever you want to call it, they don't have anything that is like substantial where you go, oh, okay, so it can't be him then, right? There's nothing out there. They've provided nothing that says that can't be him. They just come up with little things that make you go, well, you know, I guess if someone, you know, and then you got too many of those. Well, then call in then. You don't need to be a troll to call in. I'm just wanting you to tell me what you've seen out there, Nina. Some of the craziness. And don't forget, everybody, don't forget to help support the channel like Interstellar Trucker. You know, we've got a mission. We're on a mission this month. I want the end of this month to be one of our better, you know, be able to donate as much as I can from the income from the channel. Like the biggest one. Last month was pretty good. We got almost 5,000. That's pretty good. You know, that comes from my ad revenue a lot, and you know, part of the super chats. And Annabella Roma, please explain why people are so stupid. Well, you know, here's the thing: is maybe when I say that they're stupid, it maybe should just be that they're really gullible, and they expect that when they tune into a YouTube channel, that the person that they are tuning into is going to be telling them things that are true, or you know, something like there's some, you know, worthiness to it, and there just isn't, you know. Hello, is this 462? Who's this?
It's Frank.
Whoa, Frank. Hey, what's going on? Frank Meister.
Dude, I keep telling people when I sat in the courtroom, I was sitting right behind the prosecutor, and they had a great big photo of BG blown up on a great big poster board. You can clearly see it's Richard Allen.
Is it clear even, or what?
Yes.
Oh,
It's
wow.
clearly him.
Huh. So they have a better version than one we've seen out there?
Yes. When it's blown up like that, I can clearly see his face.
Huh. I don't know. I mean, they only had a certain amount of pixels to work with, but how about when you were listening to the voice? What did it, did you think it sounded like him?
I didn't get to hear none of that because that was last week. I was there the week before, and I'm here again this week.
Oh, okay. But I've heard from everybody that heard that it sounded just like him. That heard the first interrogation.
During some of the regular pre-trial hearings, I would intentionally sit behind Kathy's because I knew that Richard would walk right by me.
Mm-hmm.
And every time he would stop and say, hello, I love you. And then when I would listen to the BG or the enhanced audio, and her BG say, guys down the hill, it was him.
Yeah. Now, you always get these people out there that say, well, just because he's bridge guy. I mean, that's amazing. They even admit, they go, just because he's bridge guy doesn't mean he's the killer. And I'm thinking, okay, I know. I tell them, I go, who cares if he's the killer or not? I mean, it means that he abducted the girls, took them down the hill, then somebody else killed him. But here's the thing, everybody. There's no evidence that anybody else was there. In fact, his bullet was found at the crime scene, and he explained exactly why he went over across the creek, because he saw a van that happens to be Brad Weber's van, right? What do you think of that?
Right. So I thought I'd call in real quick, man. I'm laying here in bed, got to be up at 5:30.
Oh, come on. You know, I actually have to get up tomorrow at 6, my time. Because
so I can get to the courthouse.
Do you have a spot saved for you, or?
I've got something worked out.
Got something worked out, yeah. Yeah, it gets kind of, a lot of people have something worked out. I mean, it's kind of tough. But you deserve to be in there. I can say that.
Well, I mean, from what I'm hearing, man, the defense is trying to get all the defense daddies in there to take up all the seats away from the family and everything, and I ain't playing that shit. Because I'll tell them straight up, you motherfuckers ain't never fucking covered this case your whole life. You ain't bogarting people like that, and that ain't happening.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. Like all these attorneys, you know, these defense attorneys that are going in there, they don't even know the case. They just started following it when they've been presented the case and pretend that they've just got all this, you know, that's why they don't know these certain things. Like when they hear it, they should have went, oh, wow, okay, that means this, right? They skip right over it.
Right. But all right, man, I'm out of here.
All right, man. Well, good luck tomorrow.
All right, buddy. I'll give you a holler.
Okay, see you. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Frank Meister. He's got a YouTube channel out there. I don't know. I forgot the full name. It's like something Frank. Well, you just look up Frank and you'll be able to find it. Frank and Delphi, I guess. All right, who's calling in? But yeah, don't forget to help support the channel while we're doing these call-ins, because usually it just dies down to an absolute trickle when we do the call-in shows. I don't know what the meaning for that is. Is it that the show quality isn't as good, or? Yeah, Frank is. Yeah, I mean he has all the information. And let me get this. Hello, who's this? Hello.
Gray.
Who's this?
This is Nina Armstrong.
Nina Armstrong. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, not a troll.
You're not a troll.
Hey, I have a question. I want to hear what you guys are thinking about this. And I have been like a little bit out of it the past 2 days, a little bit sick, but there was a situation when Richard Allen talked to Holman, right? And he said, hey, is my wife detained as well? What do you think this is about? Do you think it's about that he thought, oh, my wife is being implicated into something that at this point I am actually admitting that I did because he may have done something wrong? Not may, he did, actually. Or is it, what I'm thinking is that Kathy actually knew that he's a rich guy?
Huh. Yeah, I mean, it does make you wonder why he would ask that question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think it was really fucking weird because, well, maybe she did know, honestly. I think so. Anyways, I just wanted to get your thoughts on it.
I do remember, I don't remember what day it was, but I've heard that he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was wondering.
I think it was
I
think it was the day when he was in interrogation shortly before he was arrested, when he asked, not shortly before, but when they were talking about the bullet and it was his and they had confirmation.
So that would be when he was talking to Liggett, I think. Because I think the same day he spoke to Liggett, but then at the house he was outside in the car with Holman, and that's when he said something about, he said, that's when he said, let's see, I didn't, what was it? It doesn't matter, it's over. Meaning
it doesn't matter, it's over, already super telling, yeah.
Yeah, well, he said, it doesn't matter, it's over, and that was on the 13th, before they even searched the house, and then later when he was asked what he meant, because he probably realized he said that, then about 2 weeks later when he was asked about it, he said, oh, I said that because, everybody in the community is gonna, thought that I was a killer now. Well, no, nobody knew anything about it at the time. When there were people standing outside your house, they didn't know anything. Yeah. So that was a story he came up with later.
Yeah, and I do think the same thing as well. But when he then asked, and it may have been on the, I'm not sure about the date at this point, but I think on the 26th, when he went in and he sat at the police station with Holman, and he said, is my wife detained as well? That just stood so much out to me that I cannot get over it, that nobody has talked about it, because that is not only an admission of guilt for himself, but maybe as well for Kathy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it might mean, it could mean that in his own, self, it was like a Freudian slip sort of thing where he's saying, like, oh yeah, I mean, she knew over the years that was him, but I don't know if she did or not, because she said that let's see, what was it? When he was in when she was in the interrogation room with him in the Holman interview on the 26th, he had never told her, she said, something like that he had been there, or it came out somewhere. I don't remember if that was exactly the spot, but she said, you never said you went to the bridge that day. So, man, that's pretty telling right there, right? I mean, even that.
Yeah, it is. It is telling, and it is well telling that she said, and I do remember this now, that she has said in when she had like the private conversation with Richard, that she said, why was your gun there?
Right.
I think we had like kind of like that.
Because they told her that the bullet, because at that point they did test the bullet and the ejection marks match, so they told her that, and then she came in there, and then she didn't even know. So what's really weird is, like, so that means he talked to Dan Doolin and never told her that he had gone to the bridge that day, because he came home, she was probably still at work. Yeah, he got his jacket, he goes over there after drinking 3 beers, does all the shit he did, and he goes home, and then that's probably why, by the way, that he didn't want, when he spoke to Dan Doolin all those years ago, he wanted to not meet him at home, or even at the police station, but just sort of at this business somewhere, and probably just so that she would never find out,
Yeah, and you know what? That actually makes a lot of sense because why else would he hide it, and why would she be then surprised that she never knew about it and that his gun or quote unquote the bullet was found there? So I guess she really does not believe it, which is a little bit hard to believe when you look at the pictures. You know it's Richard Allen.
Yeah.
He is, in my opinion, the best witness actually for the persecution because the witnesses have not put him there. Richard Allen put himself there.
Yeah, well, they put somebody... Well, the witnesses put him too. They just describe him differently, but later say... Because he puts himself as bridge guy. All the witnesses said they saw bridge guy, and that's the person they saw. And then the timing of when they saw him absolutely leads down the trail and places them at the bridge. So... You kind of need all of them. I mean, just his testimony alone would not make him bridge guy, because you could just sort of come up with something. His testimony alone, though, I'm not talking about his confessions. I mean, like what he told Doolin.
He was there.
Yeah, he just said he was standing on platform 1. So if you didn't have those witnesses, who cares if we wouldn't know what time, because he said 1:30 and 3:30. It could be any time. Any place, etc. But those girls lock him in to 1:35 or so, getting onto the trail, and then Betsy Blair locks him in about 1:53, standing on platform 1. Then the girls come by at like 2, Abby and Libby, and so then it's like, okay, here we go. That's him.
Yeah, and for me, it's just so weird that everybody else seen Bridge Guy. Richard Allen was there. How come he did not see Bridge Guy?
Right. Well, he didn't have a mirror with him that day, so he wasn't able to...
Exactly. Well, watching the...
Yeah. What happened? Oh. You still there? Hello?
Hello?
Oh, I don't know what just happened right there. Is this a different person, or...?
I'm calling the number on TV.
Oh. Well, I'm trying to figure out, I guess there'll be 2 people there. Hello? Who's this? Well, go ahead and speak. I don't know. I might have 2 people on. I think something popped up on the screen. I hit a space bar, and then it switched off of the last person. But go ahead.
Okay, I want to ask a question about the Delphi murders.
Yeah, we're live right now, but turn down the audio in the background. Can you do that?
I don't have that all set up. I'm just on a landline.
Oh, but I can hear the whole thing speaking in the background on your TV.
It's the TV. Let me turn it down. I'm on a landline. I just wanted to ask questions. I don't know if this happened or not, but I've watched all this all the way through since it happened. Did the bridge guy, Richard Allen, did he take lie detective tests? Do you know?
I don't know if he did or not. I've heard people ask that. I don't remember.
And his wife, I wonder if they gave her any lie detective tests. And if he went home that day and had muddy clothes on and blood on his clothes, she would have had to have seen it if she was there.
Well, I mean, I think she was working, so he would have been home, let's say at 3:50. He would have been home at 4 o'clock. Yeah, he could have gotten in the house, washed whatever he had, put in the wash machine.
And also, how long after that happened did they go to his house?
About 5.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if they could have got there that day, because they could have been blood in the laundry.
Well, that's exactly what I said. It's like, man, that's why it's so bad that Dan Doolin, somehow it didn't make it back to the right people, and had it done that, they'd have so much more forensic information to work with inside the car, probably a little trace evidence here and there. But when you got 5.5 years later, forget it. Yeah.
I'm from West Virginia, and I have watched this ever since it happened. Everything that comes up on here on YouTube, I watch it all. I don't know. I say he's guilty.
Well, no, he's 100% the bridge guy.
I do too.
I mean, he's 100% bridge guy, everybody. And if you are able to accept that he's bridge guy, then you should easily be able to just say, okay, then that means he's the guy that approached the girls at the end of the bridge. He's the one that has them go down the hill, obviously. There isn't some other guy that he goes, oh, hey, what are you doing? I'm going this way. And there's some other kidnapper, right? Because then Richard Allen would have said, you know what, man, I was walking across the bridge, and there's this other guy that was on the other side, and he's the one. But we don't hear any of that stuff, right?
Oh, boy, what chance would that have been? 1 in a million? Somebody else did it.
Yeah.
I don't buy that.
Yeah.
No, he took them down over the hill. He was responsible for their death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
I just wanted to know. I was wanting to know if they took lie detector tests.
Yeah, that's something we haven't heard that. I've seen that asked before, but I've never heard that. So it's a good question. Don't know. I doubt it.
Okay. Thank you for
All
your
right.
time.
Okay. Yep. Have a good one. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, sorry about that, Nina. That was weird. You were talking, and then something happened, and I hit the space bar or something to do something, and then it like switched the call to somebody else. I don't even know how that happened. But thanks for calling in. If you want to call back in, you can call back in if there was more that you had to say. You know what I'm saying? All right, 203.
Oh, hi, it's Allison Galvani, my father's alibi. I just wanted to express my appreciation for all of the extraordinary work and dedication you've had in this case. It's been extremely insightful. I feel like you should be an expert witness with regard to like his height and that sort of thing.
Yeah, but it was kind of cool doing that when we did the AI thing, because just based on the angle that he is off the bridge, it seemed like it did a great job of saying, you know, what you did was like pixel units, and it was like, okay, well, it was between 5 feet and 5'7", just depending on where he is in terms of an angle from the camera between 90 and 100. Or I think it was something like that. It was pretty interesting, but 5 feet to 5'7", you know, so.
And the prosecutors didn't want to spend the $10,000 to narrow down the height.
Yeah, well, here's the problem. I think
dismaying.
Here's the thing is I actually agree with them. You know why? Because it's sort of a, you know, when they were probably doing it, the thing is it's not very accurate, especially when if you're missing the right rail like they are, and they went out there to try to get the height, and let's say it came back at 5'9" or something. Well, then you're sort of locked into that. When you go to trial, they go, well, your expert said 5'9". Look at this guy. He's 5. See what I'm saying? But if you don't have it, then the height is ambiguous.
No, that's a good point.
Right,
and it also looks like he was wearing army boots. He even, I think, indicated in one of his interrogations that he may have been wearing army boots, which would give him an extra couple of inches probably.
Yeah, but when I look at that picture of the guy on the bridge, it doesn't seem like those are army boots, but I don't know. He has got those baggy pants. Maybe they go over the top of it, you know. He said he was either wearing this or that. He didn't say he for sure was wearing the hiking boots. It was some other type of shoe as well. Can't remember what he called them, but.
Yeah, I think he did call them military boots, and he'd been in the military.
Mm-hmm. But then he said some other ones too, though. He said he could have worn his military boots or like these other two. I can't remember the other two types.
Yeah. I don't want to put you on the spot, but is there a way to contact you to discuss? So my mother was murdered when I was 5 by my father, and I just wondered if I could discuss that case with you.
Well, sure. Is it solved though, right? Or not?
Oh, well, no, it's a cold case. He was arrested. I think there's overwhelming evidence. The police at the time thought I was his alibi, which is why my channel is called My Father's Alibi. But he had arranged for me to be somewhere else and using me. My mother thought she was coming to pick up me. They were in separation process of divorce.
Mm-hmm. Did they ever find the guy? Did they ever find your mom or?
Yeah, they found her the next day. She was in a sleeping bag that had been in the trunk of her car, but just him even having the car is suspicious because my mom and I were living in like a battered women's shelter. And then, she was wrapped in the sleeping bag and then thrown off a bridge in the San Francisco Bay.
Yeah, so you sort of sound like that one story with like Sarah Turney, you know. I don't know if you know her, but Sarah Turney, she was friends with Kelsey. She had her father likely killed her sister, but
Oh.
You know, and he was going to go to trial, but I guess they dropped the charges or something. I don't remember how that all played out, but it's kind of similar, like that, inside the family.
Yeah, it does sound similar.
Yeah, well, send me an email, grayhuze2@gmail.com. I'm pretty busy during this trial here, but when it,
Yeah.
I could read something.
Trial. Is that in your community page? I didn't write it down yet. Is that?
Well, yeah, but like, I can just make it easy for you. So it's, Gray, Gray, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then phonetically, Hughes, like if you didn't know how to spell it, you'd probably go Huze, right? Hughes, right?
I would go HUGH.
And I know, but if you didn't know how to spell it, and you were phonetically spelling Hughes, you would go Huze, right? Hughes. So that's what it is. Gray, HUZE, and the number 2, and then at gmail.com. So it's pretty easy. All right.
Okay, and there's no punctuation, no period in that.
No, that's it. And it's in the chat right now too. Somebody typed it in the chat, so you can see it.
Oh, okay, awesome.
All right. Well, cool. Thanks for calling in. Sorry about your mom.
Yeah, no, thanks for all of your dedication to this case. You've had insights that nobody else has had by doing this analysis. I just love your analysis.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. A lot of people don't see that, but hey, I appreciate people who do. So thank you. All right.
Thank you. Take care.
Yep, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I get more hell on this case. Well, Gray, that's because you're saying... I can't stand the industry of deception. It's like people in the true crime world, there's guys like... There's a clown that covers the Idaho 4 case. A literal clown that people just think is so on to stuff. And they have never been accurate on a damn thing that they've talked about. But it's more entertaining, so they get the views. And so if that's what people want, then that's what people want. Okay, guys, we're currently 53 short of me giving away 5 memberships. So if you guys can all together as a team, 900 people, if you can get there, that'd be great. If you appreciate what I'm doing, etc., that'd be awesome. And what I'm doing is, at the end of last month, we gave out $4,835. And that's just a portion of the income that comes in, but at least we give away something and try to make a difference. Unlike just about every other channel that's out there. All right? Hey, thank you so much, Annabella Roma. There you go. Look at that, everybody. Can I get a boom? All right, what do you guys want to know? What do you want to go figure out? Let's see if we can figure something out. What is it? And yes, I do have the income for the channel, so I can get some sort of a tax break too. But everyone goes, "Oh, you're just getting," it's like it's pretty minimal comparatively. It's like 30%. Let's see. What do you got? What do you guys want to know? People are typing in boom, but why don't you help just get this going here? We're currently at 217. We got more to go. Oh, and look at Nina Armstrong. Love the Gray and the Freaks. But you didn't call back in, Nina. Did you have any more you were gonna say, or? And there you go. You hit it. So I'm gonna do it anyway. Memberships. Oh wait, gifting memberships. There we go. Gift 5, and thank you so much to Crime Files. Very kind of you, very kind. And then Susan Wardlaw and Sandist. Where did Richard Allen go after he left the crime scene? Well, I think he went home and he drank the other 3 beers. He said something like that. And then he went and lived the rest of his life. He went and lived his life. I mean, how ridiculous, right? But apparently he went home, and his wife wasn't. I mean, listen to you guys. Listen to this. What are the odds that the guy that shows up in the tip line had the day off that day? I mean, it's just amazing. Hey, thanks so much. My Father's Alibi and Charles in Charge. That show, come on. That was. You think you could name a show that way today with all the woke crap that goes on? Charles in Charge. How dare you? How is he in charge of anything? Let me get this thing. Hey, 50. Who's this? 410 or 506? I don't know. 506.
Hey, Gray.
Hey.
Hey, Gray. How you doing?
Not too bad. Who's this?
This is Scorch.
Scorch. Well, what's going on?
Yeah. So I just got a quick question for you. I seem to remember Richard Allen checked into a mental hospital after the murder. Is that true?
I think there was an incident where, I did hear one where there was a domestic violence thing at his house, and I don't know what year that was. I think it was after that, and then maybe there was something to do with that, but I haven't heard of that specifically. What happened.
I was just checking. I wasn't sure if I was misremembering or.
There is something like that. I have heard that. It's not something I dug into. I guess it's more like, it's sort of relevant now with the trial with some of this mental stuff that he's talking about. But I think Richard Allen was depressed because he killed 2 girls, and he was withering away. I don't know if you've seen it, but you see the photographs of him over the years, and it just kind of ate away at his soul, and he got skinnier and just sort of, just looked totally different, almost like a skeleton with skin, just not a skeleton, but like his eyes started sinking in, dark circles, just, I don't know, man. I think that's what happens to you when you're just sitting around for 5 years after you killed somebody.
Yeah, he got away with it for 5.5 years. I didn't think he expected that, but. And
he probably every day he was probably nervous, don't you think? He was probably just.
Yeah, for sure. Any day they could knock on his door, but especially with a picture of him floating around everywhere.
Yeah, and I think there's these people out there that have, those people that have assaulted people years ago, like in the 80s and so forth, and they just lived their life. Everything was great until DNA was discovered, and now they do this genetic genealogy. So all of these predators, I guarantee you, are sitting around just waiting for the door to knock because their kit just hasn't been tested, or it hasn't been looked through yet. So I love that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. They're just shaking.
Oh, yeah. Every day they're just shitting their pants. Probably anytime the doorbell rings, they order Amazon. They're probably just freaking out. They're never quite sure, Yeah.
All right, well, that's all I had, man. Thanks,
right, cool.
for clearing that up.
All right, thanks for calling in. Well, I didn't really clear it up, but thank you. Appreciate it. Bye. Yeah. I think it really was. There was something like that, right? Like some kind of a psychological issue, but I think it was after he killed the girls. I'm wondering when that domestic violence incident occurred. When was that? And welcome up there, Tina Humphrey. And then Charles in Charge. Somebody gifted. Oh, that was me. 5 members. Okay. Let me get that. 410.
Hey, Gray, Nina Armstrong again calling.
Oh, cool. There you go. Sorry for hanging up. I won't touch my keyboard. I'll try.
It's not a problem. Honestly, I live in the middle of the woods. I thought it was me. I was like, oh, shit, here goes my connection again. Because it always does.
Yeah? What state do you live in?
In Delaware. I live in the Redden Forest in Ellendale, Delaware.
Oh, Delaware? Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's really nice, very green around here. Anyway, yes. So I listen to like the callers in between and as well to chat, and so there's this huge thing going on right now that they're talking about Brett Weber.
Yeah, Brad Weber.
Yeah, the Weber, which is so ridiculous.
Yeah, well, I told you guys as soon as earlier in the trial when they mentioned that Brad Weber, they searched his .40 caliber gun. They looked at it.
Yeah.
And then at trial they said they were, they weren't able to exclude it from being, but it wasn't a match. They just weren't able to exclude it. And I go, oh, here goes the defense. They're gonna start trying to.
Oh, absolutely. They're gonna be. It's a .40 caliber. Hello.
And now they're going to start insinuating that the girls were put into a vehicle, and guess what? Weber's car drives by there at 2:28, so they're going to try to... See, this is the same type of conspiracy nutter crap that these people on YouTube do. They just find something and go, ooh, we can make it work. You know? Just doesn't make sense. But.
And they always do. And they always do. It is so ridiculous. But the one thing I want to ask you about, because I do remember listening to you when you mentioned it in a previous live, was that you have mentioned or at one point asked law enforcement, hey, with Keegan Klein, was there any sort of connection? And they said they could not make a connection. Does not mean there was not a connection.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, it just doesn't mean there wasn't. Yeah. They just couldn't find it, because usually it'd be like a digital find, or some person said, hey, I said so. Hey, how about this, though? Wouldn't this be weird? Hey, everybody, here's a conspiracy theory. I mean, not a conspiracy theory, but a hope of something. Oh, watch this. This is amazing. I thought of this today. If this is true, wouldn't this be amazing? So the defense... let's see. So the prosecution likely knew that the defense at some day would call, let's say, Keegan Klein to the stand. Wouldn't it be amazing that when Keegan Klein was up there, he said, yeah, I told Richard Allen that he came to the house that morning. If he said, yeah, he came by my house that very morning, and you know, and he says something, and then he gets this deal in. Wouldn't that be? Then he gets his time shortened because he cut a deal. Wouldn't that be amazing? That would just seal the deal right there. It would
honestly make so much sense that they both have connections to Peru, Indiana. Richard Allen was just in Peru, Indiana, and I hate to call him Richard Allen. I do want to call him Dick Allen, because you know it's kind of how I feel about him. But they do have the connection to Peru, and I'm thinking like, yeah, I can actually see that there was something maybe as well going on with Richard Allen's daughter, who looked very much like Libby, and it breaks my heart. And I actually, once the pictures came out, and for the past 7 years, I've told Becky and Carrie both, I'll be there in court when we're going to go in for the girls, and I can't because of the cancer treatment. But so I talked to them on the day the pictures were released, and just via private message on Facebook that I'm not even on anymore, and just saying like, hey, hope you guys are holding up okay. But Richard Allen's daughter looks very much like Libby, very much. Yeah. And it is almost
with the tie-dye shirt. And they put the tie-dye shirt. I mean, there's a picture with the tie-dye shirt. It's one of the Libby and Abby. You know, but a lot of people in the town, I mean, just to say it, a lot of people in the town have those tie-dyes, but, you know, it's just sort of interesting.
Oh, yeah, they did.
When you think it's him, you know, now Richard Allen's the killer, so then his daughter's wearing the shirt, kind of looks like Libby. She just got engaged 2 months before the homicides. It's kind of like a huge trigger,
especially if something else was going on between them two. I am honestly...
Yeah, but I think he didn't want to lose his, you know, like his daughter, you know, maybe he was feeling like something might happen.
Well, she aged out. She just aged out. It was not young enough anymore. Like, some people have preferences, usually a lot of times with predators, whether it's a serial killer or it is a sexual predator, they do have the same preference. They do not age the same way as they're aging themselves. So it could be just that. I'm not trying to be crude or anything. I'm just trying to, like, you know, make like kind of like trying to figure out if that could maybe it. Maybe.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
It is heartbreaking. Anyways, I hope Miss German and Miss Williams will get justice. And by the way, I was there on your Halloween stream. I love your wife. I know the shed is full, but man, she did an awesome decoration.
Yeah, it was cool when the audio came on. When the audio came on, wasn't that pretty cool? When it was like...
Oh my, it was absolutely mind-blowing. I loved everything about it. So I'm a huge fan of your wife.
Oh, cool.
Already.
Very cool, very cool.
And of you, obviously.
Oh, well,
so anyways, thank you for taking my call, Gray.
All right.
Appreciate you. Appreciate the freaks. Keep calm. Vote for America.
Let's
go.
All right. All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Good advice. All right. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. That's right. Ding, ding, ding. No, there it is. This person's been trying to call. 317. Who's this?
This is Danielle. Is this Gray?
Danielle. Yeah, that's me. Yep.
Hey, Gray. Quick question. Something crossed my mind during this trial. Richard Allen, when he was supposedly losing his mind in Westville, made comment and confessed that he molested his sister.
Yeah.
Do we know, is she there at the trial? Does she appear there?
Well, I thought he also said it to his daughter too, didn't he?
I don't recall the daughter, but I do remember him saying, "I molested my sister."
Maybe it wasn't his daughter.
He
maybe
said
it was
it multiple times.
Yeah. Huh. Well, it'd be interesting if, they might bring her up there so she can deny it, and then that would sort of help prove that, oh, look, see, he made up stuff in those confessions.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm afraid of.
Yeah, but my thing is I think that, I think he did make up stuff intentionally, though. See, the thing is, when he first confessed, everything in prison was fine. He was exercising, eating, reading books. Things were normal. And then he
got the
found religion.
From his lawyer.
Then he confesses to his wife, and I think that might have been after he got those papers, sure.
Yes.
But then after his lawyers found out that he confessed, they needed to change the narrative in there, so they just had him start acting nutty and crazy, and then I think this is all an act, and I think they remember that right away he drools on a shirt, and it's like, oh, look at this photo. I mean, it was so stupid. Here, take a photo of it right away.
Then he would get really sober and want to call his wife.
Yeah, and whenever he
nothing had just happened. I just ate a handful of crap, but now I want to call my wife.
Yeah, and then he even admitted that it was
it's asinine.
fake. He admitted it was fake in one of the comments he made out there. He said, "Yeah, I'm not really crazy. I'm acting." That was at trial. It was one of the things that he said.
Did he?
No, well, I got it in the pool notes, so I don't know if that. I mean, if it's not accurate, then it's
Wow.
I'll watch
it.
it. I'll show it.
If he walks, it'll blow my mind.
Well, I think everybody in here, I'm sure Fig Sol would agree. He's in there. If Richard Allen is found not guilty, this case, it is solved. It'll never be investigated again. Yep. And there will never be justice for Abby and Libby. So that's what all these wackos out there that are trying to sort of sway. They don't really have an effect on what the jury is. But I think before the trial, though, they may have affected jurors. That's what their whole goal was with the Odin document. It was to change the narrative in society. And I think it might have bled into a juror or two. Who knows?
I don't know, but I do know that emotions are cloudy. We've lost all focus on Libby and Abby at this point.
Yeah, no, it sucks.
This has flipped on to Richard Allen, poor Richard Allen.
Well, we're still doing it. We're trying to, the rational people are still giving a shit, because I keep thinking how devastating it would be to never get justice for them, because, like I said, they won't be investigating this case if this turns out to be not guilty.
I know Doug Carter.
They're not going to do it.
I'm in Indiana. I live in Hamilton County, not too far from Delphi. Know quite a few people in the law enforcement industry, agency, whatever you want to call it. Been following this case since day one because I'm a true crime freak. And yeah, no, they won't bother with this. It's over. Closed. Shut. We're done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, there'd be no reason to be. Guess what? These super sleuthy YouTubers, boy, they're going to keep attacking. I think some of them will keep attacking they'll keep attacking the family for years after this, because then they'll say, now let's go after the real person because he was innocent. And the truth is he wasn't innocent. He's not. Is the he's the one that killed them.
He's given himself away multiple times, Gray. Yeah, multiple times.
I hope the jury just, when they finally sit down, you just hope when the jury sits down, they just go, you know what? He confessed. He was calm. He was rational. He places himself at the bridge. The girls, all the witnesses there, said the person they saw was bridge guy. Betsy Blair places them on the end of the bridge, turns around, passes Abby and Libby. Therefore, Abby and Libby runs into Richard Allen. And then Richard Allen could not have left because Betsy Blair continued to walk the trail and never saw him again. So that means he is the same person following them across the bridge, because nobody saw Richard Allen ever again after that, all the way up until 3:30 when he
climbed out from where he killed him and went across the field as you indicated.
Yeah, it's just, and I think he saw the group of people there just like Sarah Carbaugh did. But here's the thing, I don't even care, the muddy and bloody part of the story I don't care about that. It's weird. It's like that part, we just know, look at Richard Allen's bridge guy. He got across. You can throw out the Sarah Carbaugh sighting if you want to. It doesn't have much bearing on anything for me, because we know that there was a killer at the crime scene and his bullet was left at the crime scene. Right? But I think it is a sighting by Sarah Carbaugh just because of the timing and the facts, but that's the least important of all of the different sightings, that one.
And if anyone's interested too also in handguns that have no knowledge, which I do, the bullet it's not an exact science, no, but yes. Does that make sense? And if people understood how the mechanisms inside a gun actually work by seeing the inside of a gun and how it actually functions, because a lot of people aren't seeing this. They're not.
Well, I think they showed it at a trial.
Understanding what the bullet has to do with this.
Yeah, they showed that at trial. I think it's, and especially that she was saying that when a bullet's fired, it has the same ejection area. It's just there's more force applied, so it's like a stamp that's much clearer to read, and then you can compare it better to the sample.
Yes,
so
but I don't think pictures were shown to demonstrate how that was done, and I don't think she had a gun in the courtroom either to.
Well, I think they did.
Show an example.
I thought one of them pulled the gun out and. Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure.
I didn't get that from my source.
Oh, well, I have all the pool notes, and it seemed pretty, like they were pretty in-depth on that crap.
Thank you. I'm glad to know that, because I was under the impression that was not done, and I'm like, okay, the jury's just not getting the full picture.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they didn't do it quite as good as they could have. I don't know, but it sounded pretty in-depth, like the judge thought they were sort of getting bored or something.
Yeah, and this stupid crap about bridge guys, Richard Allen's dignity. Where was Libby's dignity when she was exposed to everyone? Naked.
Yeah, or both of them.
Dead.
Abby and Libby. They showed them both their autopsy photos. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. I don't really give a shit about, because they're thinking, well, he's only being accused, so he doesn't have to do that. I mean, that's not fair. I don't know, man. It doesn't make any sense to me.
The whole thing is a circus. It's a shit show.
I think the judge has been more, other than not allowing the Odinist crap, I think her not allowing, I mean, I understand why she didn't allow the photographs of Richard Allen in 2017 without the dates on them, but hopefully if law enforcement goes back to the phone, takes the original images and pulls the date off, but then they'll say, well, we just uploaded that image to the phone, so that's not, so I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of issue with, can you prove the actual date that the photo was taken? But you'd think the metadata, if it was on the phone and it was taken from the phone, it would actually say in the metadata that the image was taken from the phone.
The picture and then detail. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say.
And details would tell you when the picture was taken and the date.
Yeah, well, there's actually, if you put it into something, there's another Photoshop, this other one that you deal with photographs, not Photoshop. There's something else, I forgot the name, but in there it tells you all the stuff, like what shutter speed was, and it goes through the whole thing.
Sure. Well, and so I've seen some other freaks making comments or questions about that photo in particular. No, I just lost my train of thought. I wanted to answer it for them because it was to my understanding. Why he was called in, He was called in, he went in because the police posted that photo, and then that's when he went in and said, hey, I was there. He knew that was him. Now, that's something to give you chills and something to think about if you put 2 and 2 together and come up with 4 and not 5.
Let's see. Well,
that's because everyone, you know, a lot of people they're not clear on why he went in the first time. And why?
Well, no, he went in the first time because he saw his picture in the paper. I mean, it's so obvious, you know.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's why he went in. The second time he was called in or taken in.
Well, yeah. Well, the first time he went in was, you know, he didn't. I don't know if he went in or somebody said he went to the police station. Some say he called, but whatever it was, he's the one that called the tip line on the 16th, the day after the newspaper put the picture of the bridge guy in the photo, and in that article it said, we'd like to speak to this person to see what they may have seen that day. And guess what? The next day he goes, hey, yeah, he calls in because he wants to be that guy. You know, he is that guy.
And it wasn't from the composite sketches. It was the photo that did it.
Right. Yeah, and also
he knew that was him.
Even the girls he saw, he knew that he had that little. Because here's the thing: there's a guy out there. Doug Rice was his name. He was kind of a loony guy, but he got really good information on witnesses. So he actually interviewed. He had these crazy theories of it. He interviewed some of these girls, you know, those 3, right? And he said when they talked to him, they said he was short. I mean, it's so bizarre. I don't know why this was changed, but he wrote this years ago. I mean, we're talking at the time, you know. And they said he was short, and he had this little mouth covering. And I mean, if you took what Doug Rice had, it would have been better. If Doug Rice's interview information was what was put out there, there'd be no doubt, because it was like they had mouth coverings, you know, like he had a white thing kind of up above his, you know, like covering his mouth.
If you look at it closely, I think he's got his face tucked in his sweatshirt.
Yeah, but he's also got this little white squiggly thing right below his chin, which I think could easily be some sort of a scarf that he would pull up. It's right there.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, it's like it's kind of an out-of-place little item that you see in the image.
But I'm telling you, that squatty little thing on the bridge is him.
That's him.
I mean, you can't get away from that. And when he goes in and says, oh, hey, that's me, thinking they randomly got a picture. He didn't know if there were security cameras out there, I'm pretty sure. Let's assume, okay? Although assuming you know what they say about that. But let's assume that he thought there was cameras out there, and they caught him on camera, and they wanted to question him to see if he had seen anyone out there. So he innocently went in, not innocently, you know what I'm saying. He innocently thinks he's going in to give them information when they got that off the girls' phone. And then that's
that's what I always say. That's where they blew it. You know, that's where I always say that.
They should never told him.
Dan Doolin just should have told him. Well, I don't know if they told him anything. The first time he came in 2022, he already knew because everybody in the world knew where that came from. But when Dan Doolin interviewed him, they should have said. You know, when they were talking to him, he should have had a copy of the picture with him, looked at him, and then said, hey, where, you know, when he said, yeah, I was out there, go, yeah, was this you right here? And I bet you he would have said yes, because at that moment, nobody knew where that image came from. In 2022, everybody knew that image was an image from the phone, and that the person in the image was the sole suspect in the case against Abby and Libby, so he would have known that. I'm sure he followed the news.
Now to move on, because I know you've got other people trying to get a hold of you. To move on, there was another question that was asked about the issue, the domestic disturbance. The domestic disturbance situation was he was extremely drunk and trying to commit suicide by shooting himself.
Yeah,
he was taken to his wife had him taken to an institution to get help.
And when was this? This was after the homicide, right?
This was after, but before he was arrested.
Well, of course.
So
like, there's 5 years there, you know.
Would that be guilt? Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many times did he try to do that before the homicides? I think he you know.
And the Google
the case is so obvious. It's just scary, man.
The Google searches, a few had already talked to you about that. You know, you responded to them. Yeah, I'm a horror fanatic, so that wouldn't be admissible for me. Well, of course, I don't go looking for the most disgusting thing on Netflix to watch. But that being said, push that aside. His other Google searches were chronic on the case updates. He was chronically, every day, multiple times, checking updates on the case. That's suspicious. Reasonable doubt, yes, but still suspicious. Now, the other Google search was, should I kill myself now?
Yeah, I mean,
okay, now
I've heard about the thing that you were saying a minute ago, like, you know, the whole thing. They mentioned a trial, the time about where he's going to take his life, and, you know, they mentioned that police came over to the house, but then there was no, you know, charges or anything, right? That's what you're talking about before.
And I will say, without a doubt and 100% in my heart, they royally screwed up this investigation. A lot of balls were dropped.
Yeah, a lot of balls were dropped, but they got enough. See, the thing is there's these things that everybody thinks from the CSI shows that, oh my God, you got to have this, you got to have that, you got to have this, you got to have. And the thing is, you don't have to have that. The information they have right now is absolutely enough, but people are just too used to having all of this stuff, you know? It sucks. So they blew it on some shit, like, you know, the sticks, for example. Really? You're going to let them sit there, and then 2 weeks later you go get them? The sticks that are on the girls? I mean, that's ridiculous.
And is it, to my understanding, didn't someone go down there to be a looky-loo and found some more, or a pile of sticks covered in blood, and called the police and said, I think you've missed some evidence?
Yeah, I've even have a photo of one of those where there's like this leaf with blood on it, and the police had to go back down. But you know what? There's a lot of people trying to get in here now, so I got to get these ones. A lot of people trying to call.
I don't want to keep staying longer, but I wanted to get some things cleared up and ask you how you felt about the one situation. But it was great talking to you,
Gray.
You
too.
Gray, you take care, and God bless.
Well, you too. Bye-bye. Have a good one. Nope. And now they got to call back. There was 2 different calls that came in like 2 seconds. Thanks for calling in. Interesting. Good stuff. Yeah, I think I forgot to mention to you guys about the 702. Who's this? Hello? Well, guess that didn't work. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, who's this?
Oh, hi, Gray. How are you?
Pretty good. Who's this?
This is Carmi from Las Vegas. I'll turn my my computer down. I didn't know. Obviously, I haven't been on here for like I think the past couple days, so I think I've missed out on a few things. And I'm like, I love you and I watch you constantly, but what I was going to ask you is, did anybody ever talk about what Kathy, if Kathy Allen goes on the stand, like what she's going to say in defense? Since I mean, we already know that Richard Allen is like guilty. I mean, the whole case makes me so sick. What the heck can she say for some of the things that?
Well, I don't know. Is she on the witness list? Because I don't think she can be if she's been sitting there this whole time.
Oh yeah, okay. So I wrote some notes. So hold on, let me think. And I wrote these a couple days ago. Let me see. Okay, so let's see. It was like okay. Okay.
Because like Becky, and the reason they all went up first is so that they could be there, because you can't be in court until you've testified, because it might affect what you're saying. So
somebody said, okay. It said if we were to bring up certain things in court, would we open this up later for the prosecution to ask questions? Those are the notes that I wrote down by watching like the trial. Is that how that works? So like because I saw that too. I think if there was a part of the trial where it said, let me think. Yeah, sorry, my notes are so bad. I have ADHD. Let's see. Yeah, it said something like that.
Well, somebody, hold on one second. I want to throw something. Somebody just sent me something that said Delphi suspect Richard Allen involved in domestic incident 2 years before the teen's murders. So that kind of changes that sort of thinking there.
Before the what?
I'll go before the murders. So I don't know if that's a different event or what, but I'll go. I'm gonna go. I'll read it after we're done here. But,
yeah.
But sort of interesting.
I mean, I'm sure. I mean, you know, I'm sure. Like, let me see. I just was watching a thing that said.
Well, what you were saying was, like, you can open the door. Like, if you're not supposed to, let's say, Odinism wasn't supposed to be brought up, and then in the middle of the prosecution's case, one of them said, just randomly, one of the experts said, hey, yeah, when I went to the crime scene, I was looking at it, and I thought maybe it was Odinism, and then, boom! I think at that moment, then the defense can then jump in and go, well, listen, you know, we want to argue against the Odin, and then you bring it up, and then it can be talked about because they open the door for it. But the judge sometimes can go, that wasn't really opening the door, and not let it happen.
You know, what's crazy is I've been watching, like, true crime cases, like, you know, my whole life, and, like, in your channel, but I've never seen one that, like, where I've learned so many different things where it's like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, you can't ask this question. I didn't even know, you know, a lot of these things where it's like, but you know what I think is just insane? Why is it that this case, why are people so crazy when, like, the evidence is right there? What do you think it is about it?
People like there to be conspiracies, and then a lot of people are anti-cop. You know, there's a lot of people, I'm not sure why.
I think it might have a little bit to do with him looking like a little bit puny, too, don't you? Because he looked like a little, like, wormy at the beginning.
I don't think so. I think people are just, they like a good conspiracy. They like to dig into, oh, look at these bad country cops, you know. They're just a good old boy network, so they're trying to railroad the poor old Richard Allen, the killer, and, you know, it's just, I know how they think. It's sick, really.
I find it gross. Like, in fact, I get real sick. Like, I can't, like, I get off work and I miss things. So that's why I was calling to see, like, did I miss on anything? So, okay, so if that lady, okay, well, you know what? His wife had to know that he was guilty. I'm just saying this for my opinion. Obviously, she knows he is, you know, at this point. You know, I feel sorry for her if she married someone of that caliber. It's gross. But how is she going to explain, like, the most disgusting and disturbing video I've ever watched, or how do I kidnap somebody? Like, how do you say that? You know, I could see how she could look up a Delphi case, but how is she going to say the most grossest, nastiest thing I could ever watch, and how do I kidnap people? You know, I mean, what is she going to say? You know, I just was bored. You know? I mean, what do you think? Like, I don't...
Also, Colin, what do you mean about guns? Somebody said, I know about guns, also, I have no idea what is going on in this case. Well, why are you here, Peanut the Squirrel? I mean, what makes you... If you don't know what's going on in this case, you're not going to learn it all in 1 second here.
Well, that's what I don't understand, why people even jump in there. Because it's like, well, why are you even...
Yeah, people are just...
Why are you even... Like, where'd you come from? Where'd you... I don't even know. I think a lot of people... well, I mean, not trying to be like... I just think some people... they're maybe not even from this country, and I think they hop into chats, and I think some of them, because I've seen it from the work I do, they try to calibrate it into their language, and then I think they get confused. So let's just blame it on that, unless they're being trolls. You know, I mean, I don't even know why. I don't even understand. This whole thing is like, you've laid it out. You know what I mean? How many years has it been? It's been years, and like literally everything you've put out there, like with your maps and
Yeah.
everything.
Done a lot
The
of
only
mini.
thing you've ever done is like tweaked it a little bit, you know?
Yeah, like just kind of
So
moved.
it's
Like I remember at the very beginning, we just moved the pins a little bit different spots on the bridge because we
Right,
dialed in.
because
But that was early. Those haven't
it's
moved.
early, but that's normal because who cares whether your foot, walked left or right or down this way? It just, the whole thing makes me so sick that, who do they think did this then? Did they think like...
There was a pack of wild Odinists. Except there's an there's an idiot in chat who's saying
fell
it's
from the sky,
yeah.
and then Richard just he just said, "Come on, guys, down the hill, let's go." Like, so he did that because he wanted to go like, "Skip to my loo, my darling."
I think there was
went,
four people there, and one said guys, the other one said down, the other one said and the other one said hill.
But who the fuck cares? Sorry, excuse my language. But he ran down there. Do you think he was playing patty cake with them? A grown, short midget man, like saying, "Let's go," and you can hear like a clicking of a gun, and she said, "That'd be a gun right there." That's how little girls talk, and like that's slang. My little girl, she is that age. She goes, "Oh my gosh!" She was watching. She said, "Yeah, that's the way we talk in high school." They go, "That'd be a gun right there," because that's the way they played it in court. They actually played the rest of the video. So Libby goes, "That'd be a gun right there." And,
I think a lot of people say she might actually be saying, "Abby, it's a gun." Like at that be a gun. Abby, it's a gun. That makes more sense, right?
Gun. Or that be a gun.
That be a gun. That's just terrible. She's actually smart, so that be gun sounds kind of dumb. But who cares actually? It doesn't really matter what they said. The word gun is what matters. The word gun is what matters.
That's what they said.
Right.
That's exactly. They knew what was going on, and I get really sick just knowing that this short, fat, creepy, smelly ass dude, that was like ordering them somewhere, and there's nothing like anybody else in this world who says anything like, "Oh, teach your kids to do this. They should have done this, should have done that." You know what? Kiss my ass. I will tell you right now, because unless these are little girls in a situation, you know what I mean? And
I don't have patience for people who say, "I'd never let my kids walk on a bridge like that." Listen. Nobody cares that you would do that. Nobody's going, "Wow, you're super mom. You're super mom." I can't stand that.
Like,
when
"Oh,
people do
teach
that.
your kid to do this, do that." Guess what? You've never been in that situation, and these are little baby girls, and you know what? They were just doing. First of all, I'm afraid of heights. They were just, okay, all right, let's go this way. And you know what? We don't know what their final moments were. We don't know if they tried to run, do this, do that. If somebody has a gun in your face, you just don't know. You don't. These poor baby girls, and so I'm so sorry.
I know you're bitter, but I gotta keep moving the calls because
okay.
But what do you got? You got a closing, your little zinger at the end. What is it?
Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, give me a zinger at the end. What is it?
Oh, I was just saying, like, I just wonder, like, what will happen if she testifies. I was just wondering, like, if the
I don't think so.
If she doesn't.
She can't because she's been there. That means she could tailor her. That's why they don't allow you to be in court until you testify, because you can tailor your answers to what's been said already.
Yeah, but we already know he's all right. So I'm just going to end it with this. We already know that he's going to go to prison for life. If they have the electric chair, he's going to get it. So everybody needs to understand that he literally took the innocence away from these girls, and he's guilty. So that's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in.
Right,
Call in again on another one of these shows.
Okay. All right. God bless.
All right. You too. See you later.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Yeah. Let's see. So this is that was just sent a minute ago. Before Libby German and Abby Williams were murdered in Delphi, Indiana. Local. What date is this? This is actually published November 3rd, 2022. So I don't know if this is the same event. What the hell's going on over there, though? Jesus. Oh, she got stuck in the machine? Holy shit. Anyways, it said, let's see. Before Libby German and Abby Williams were murdered in Delphi, Indiana, local sheriff deputies responded to the home of accused killer Richard Allen over a domestic incident. Officers with the Carroll County Sheriff's Office were sent around 3:30 a.m. on June 18, 2015 to the home of Richard and Kathy Allen, according to records. But, you know, it kind of makes you... This guy's a perfect person to be who he is, the killer. I mean, this is... Sheriff Tobe Lesenby said Allen, a dad of one and a CVS technician, was allegedly drunk, and his wife took him to the hospital for medical evaluation. So that sounds a little different. According to the sheriff, responding deputies' role during the incident was to keep the peace and no arrests or charges filed. Maybe, I don't know. It sounds like kind of similar, but different too. Until his arrest last week on 2 counts of first-degree murder, Allen 50 had no prior. So that is that incident. So that's actually before. And so it makes you wonder. I mean, this guy probably, you know, I bet you he hated himself because of what he was interested in. And I think he was interested in CSAM material. And it sounds like he assaulted other people, apparently, based on his confessions in prison. And, you know, maybe that got to him. But that was before, you know. All right, so who else is calling in? There was a call that came in a minute ago. I've heard about that one. But the one that somebody said was after the murders, I was like, wait, is that one I missed? But that one sounds like the same one that was in court. Hey, first, last, I'm just not interested in what you're saying. You mentioned a hair found in Abby's hands. Well, the hair was in Abby's hands because she was wearing a sweatshirt of Kelsey's. That's why the hair was there. You understand that, right? Or are you a lunatic? All right, go ahead and call back, who's ever out there. Kelsey has absolutely nothing to do with anything. She dropped the girls off and drove away to her boyfriend's house, then worked over at Dairy Queen. She has nothing to do with it, you guys. I think people who are suggesting that on the internet should absolutely have their channels removed from YouTube. Thank you. And this is 312. Who's this?
Yeah, hey, Gray, this is Mike from Chicago. It's good to talk to you.
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
Hey, just wanted to talk to you. I'm glad you got your map up. I'm wondering, I really like your mapping and your graphics. I really think that really nailed down Richard Allen as bridge guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
But I know it's not really relevant as far as we go, but I think it's relevant as far as the jury goes, is this Sarah sighting at the end when the Muddy and Bloody guy...
Mm-hmm. Sheriff Carbaugh, yeah, Muddy and Bloody, yeah.
So my theory is, let's take Richard Allen at his word in his using his own words. What I believe he said was he got spooked by a van. He didn't necessarily say white van, but he got spooked by a van, and he panicked, and he killed them.
Yeah, he took them across the creek, though, first, and then he killed them. Yep.
And then he covered them with branches. He used the word branches, not sticks.
Right.
So he covered them with branches. And then he said, in his own words, he said that when he went back, he stayed off the trail so he wouldn't be seen.
Yeah, but you know what he said also before that? He said that, and he also made sure that they were dead. So
yes.
So man, that sort of indicates. Remember the time with Libby, the multiple stabs inside the same wound. Man, that even speaks to that. Like he's making sure that they're dead. You know. Don't ask. Go on to you.
But I think the coroner said that may have taken like 5 minutes or something. So
yeah, but he wouldn't know. I mean, he would. He's not gonna. He probably just sat around and waited. Maybe he was waiting for a while to make sure they were dead. And then he started putting the sticks on them, right? But he wouldn't know that it would take. You know, he probably didn't check their pulse, right? Because he wouldn't want to touch them.
So no, exactly. But let's freeze it at that moment where he's covered them up with the branches, and they're dead, and he's there. Now, I think it's not for maybe. So that's probably going to be about, if I'm correct, somewhere about 245, 250, maybe 255 at the latest.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's like if everything happened. I think well, I mean, my thing is he got him to the crime scene and then he continued he got him undressed and everything. Obviously they were undressed, so he forced them to get undressed, so there was more that went on, but you're just going with what he said, but you got to also put in, like, they were both nude at one point and then Abby completely redressed again. So he's leaving that part out of his confession.
Correct.
Intentionally.
Correct. I mean,
so that adds more time.
My theory was like where you said that you believe that he took them initially in that dark corner.
Yeah.
Right before the van spooked them. I think that's where he had them disrobe.
Okay.
So
right
they ran
there.
across the street. My theory is they ran across the creek, half dressed, and maybe some clothes dropped in the creek, and maybe Abby grabbed something to throw on and grabbed the wrong pair of jeans or something. So I don't know what happened there, but to paint a picture for the jury, I think the prosecution needs a theory of what happened. And you had another video that I watched of yours, which was very very interesting, where you had gone with your wife and a daughter, I believe, up to the bridge. It was summertime, and you took a turn to the left.
Yeah, it
and
goes
you went
around
through the woods. So my theory is when Richard Allen, what he said was, in his confession, his own words, he said he saw the van, he got panicked, and he cut their neck. I think he said he cut their neck, and then he covered them with branches, and then when he went back, he stayed off the trail. So my theory is he went back about 250, 255. He went back through, similar to where you went through on that other video.
Yeah.
He didn't go out. He didn't go through the cemetery and out on the road. He went back through the woods.
Yeah. Well, the only problem with that, I mean, we've thought through all these things over the years, so I knew where you were going already. So there's people that think things like that, but it doesn't work with all the different people that were on the trail at that point. Because then there was Cheyenne, there was the flannel shirt guy, and then Derek shows up at 3:15. And the thing is, the killer was at the scene for a minimum of 20 minutes of the time Derek was there, and he got there at 3:15, and then you add 20 to that, that's 3:35. And they might have been saying that because they believed that the muddy and bloody guy is Richard Allen, but you're saying that he went through the woods and then he makes his way back to the trail that's in the woods?
Makes his way back to as far as he can get, because I think he left the crime scene after he covered him with branches immediately. So I think he was long gone. He was back to his car by 5 after, 10 after 3 at the latest. I think the muddy and bloody guy, that Sarah who saw the muddy and bloody guy, my theory on him is he was part of the search party.
Well, he can't be. I saw your comment earlier, and he can't be because nobody was there searching. I mean, they were just getting there at that time. See, at 3:57, that's when Kelsey, or like Becky and them, they just showed up to the parking area across from the Mears property. They just got there.
Yes.
So there wouldn't be somebody that had time to be down at the creek and have blood, like mud on them and stuff like that. There just wouldn't be time at all. So it couldn't be.
If you go with Sarah saw this muddy. First of all, I think this Sarah came into the investigation 3 weeks after it started, or similar to that.
Well, that's when she self. I mean, it could be a false reporting, like she wanted to make herself.
I think it's a false report. I think it was a false report, unintentional. But
well, maybe she saw nobody. I mean, it could be that she saw nobody.
Maybe.
And she wanted to be known because I get what you're saying. I've heard that theory out there, but the thing is there wouldn't be time for anybody to have, because Derek. So here's how the timing went. Derek got there at 3:15. Okay. That's already even sort of after the time that you're saying that then the bridge guy would have walked over to the left, but Derek got there at 3:15. Then And I'm just going
But he
now.
wasn't supposed to meet him until
I'm giving.
3:30.
Well, I'm giving. No. I don't know who's telling you this stuff, but that's not accurate. He just was supposed to be there in an hour and a half to 2 hours after the call that Libby made to him, and he got there right in between there. He got there exactly at 3:15. He pulls into the parking area. Then he walks to the little trail there, and apparently somewhere he spoke to the flannel shirt guy, and he goes, "Oh, there wasn't anybody there," so he went down the 505 trail, and he's the only one looking at this point. Then he gets up near sort of the parking area again at 3:30. Then he starts calling people to show up. Then he walks over to the Freedom Bridge, and then he walks back to the parking area at like 4, and that's when people started showing up. So there wouldn't be time for a person at 3:50. And Sarah Carbaugh saw those people when she drove by. Remember, she saw the people getting out of the, getting and sort of getting together at the parking area. So there wouldn't be time for somebody else to be.
What time was that? That was kind of late, though.
That was 3:57. So what I was saying is at 3:30, Derek called, and people started showing up around 4. Okay, so that's it's 3:57, and then Sarah Carbaugh has a timed driving by the Hoosier Harvest Store and sees a group of people standing there, and then she drives by and then sees Muddy and Bloody Guy. Now she's either really did see somebody or she's made it up, because there isn't going to be somebody that looks like they're Muddy coming out of those woods at that time searching for Abby and Libby. It would probably be somebody related to their murders, because there was nobody there yet searching. Nobody had even gone to the bridge yet at that point. It was like Kelsey went across the bridge at 4:30, something like that. But does that make sense?
Well, my theory is that the bridge guy, Richard Allen, immediately left the crime scene. Let's say they were deceased at 2:50.
Yeah.
I think he double timed or even triple timed it back through the woods, similar to the path that you took on your one video.
Yeah, that's cool. But that comes out at the start of the bridge, and then you have to go onto the main trail, right? So then there'd be people walking around that would have seen this person.
Were there people though? Were there people? There were.
Yeah, because like Cheyenne was even on the bridge from like 3:15 to 3:45. Then the flannel shirt guy was around. Derek was even, well, when you're saying at the time, Derek wasn't there till 3:15, but you're saying like double timing it. Yeah, Cheyenne and her friends were there around that time on the bridge, so likely they would have seen. But I guess if he cut across into the woods, it's possible that he sort of went all the way down to the Freedom Bridge area and missed Derek. I mean, I don't know where the flannel shirt guy, though. He was there during that whole time too, and he walked the trails. And so, just nobody saw him. So, I mean, it's not a bad theory right there, but I don't know.
So I think for continuity, the prosecution in their closing argument is going to need to present what they believe happened. How and I know it's irrelevant because, but it's also hard to believe that he stayed there with the two in a state of panic, because he used the word panic. He panicked. He's wet. He's panicked, and he's not going to stick around.
Except he panicked.
He's going to get out of there.
Yeah. Well, the thing I was going to say is he panicked. Well, yeah, but see, he panicked, and then he moved him to a place where he wasn't panicking. That's why he moved him. So, like, there's a panicking thing. Oh, they're right there. And then he moves them across, and he puts them behind trees and everything back there. And so maybe he wasn't panicking as much there, and he had a good view of that private drive from over there, so he could sort of manipulate the situation. Down below, he kind of was at the mercy of, like, oh my God, ooh, a car drove by. But when you're up on that where the crime scene is, you can see the private drive. So maybe I think he just kind of continued on with what he wanted to do, taking pictures or whatever the hell he was doing. And I think the part of the story that you would just say, because you can fill in the blanks in his story, because his is, I took him across the creek and I killed them. But then you could say, took him across the creek, he had them undressed, or whatever, if you want to, however you want to tell the story, and then he killed them, and then you keep using his words, but you're filling in, And that's what the time frame, because you can't make it, it's hard to make it work if you just go, oop, yeah, we ran across the creek, killed him, turned his leaves, and he took off. You know, there's a lot of stuff that went on there, because Abby she didn't just find some clothes and throw them on. She had her own pink shirt was back on, because she had dirt on her back. So she had her pink shirt back on.
Off.
Yeah, well, it could have just been pulled up over her, and then she got dirt on her back. So let's say her pink shirt was on, then she had Libby's sweatshirt on, then she had Libby's in her jeans on, and then she had her shoes back on again. Those what do they call them? The Chuck Taylor tennis shoes. Yeah, she had those on, and obviously those were taken off because she wouldn't have been able to take her jeans off over the top of those, and her jeans were in the water. So there you go. Isn't that crazy? So she literally, at gunpoint, I think, was allowed to dress again, and then at some point he probably changed his mind and killed her, and then he made sure that they were both dead. He's not going to fill in the gory details and all the little elements that he did at the scene, because that makes him look even worse. He just sort of generalized, oh yeah, took him across, killed him, covered him with leaves, and took off, or branches, and took off. Right?
Another interesting fact is that he moved Libby to conceal her.
Yeah, behind a tree.
Now, what's interesting about that is, why did he feel the need to move her? And that is because he knew he was visible at that moment. He was visible.
Yeah.
Maybe to the so if he's visible, and he's vulnerable.
Well, it could be that he was hearing voices on the bridge. So let's say before that, when the car drove by, he could see, okay, they're not coming around anymore, and he thought everything was okay. But then, you know, from the bridge, you can actually kind of see through there. It's weird, but it might not have been that. It might have been that he heard voices because the wind was blowing from the bridge directly to the crime scene, and it could be that he heard it really well, the sound of people talking, because there was 3 people walking around, Cheyenne, etc., and he's probably like, oh shit, and instinctually moved her behind some trees so that, you know, in case there was somebody just walking across the creek over there, they wouldn't see. What do you think of that?
Exactly. So you know, with being February, no leaves on the tree, he's not in the secluded corner where he was where the van went by. Now he's visible. So that's why when he's visible, I don't think he's going to be sticking around taking pictures. He's all about concealing and getting out of there at that point, because he's visible.
Yeah. Well, I think there was a time, as a matter of fact, I actually think Cheyenne is what sort of sped them up, because she was on the other side of the bridge at like 3:35 to 3:40ish, and that's so perfect, it's amazing. Like all of a sudden they're talking. Well, I know that's what you're saying, but I don't agree with you. So
I think
he's back at 3:40.
His car by 3:15. He's back in his car.
Yeah, I don't agree. But like at 3:40, Cheyenne's on the bridge and she's talking, and at that point he probably, you know, maybe he moved her really quick right there, and he started putting branches, or maybe he was already in the process of putting branches on them, because he wasn't complete. He put one large branch on one large branch on the other, then another one kind of at an angle, and another one at an angle on the other one. And then he probably got interrupted and went, oh shit, by another voice that he heard on the bridge, and took off. He never said that part, but so you couldn't really, like you were saying, if you want to make a continuity story, you wouldn't be able to say that, but you could imply it, because Cheyenne, in fact, said she was over there. And I've seen the crime scene photographs myself. They're pretty disturbing. Pretty weird shit. But yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible what you're saying.
Did that Sarah testify about the bloody guy? Did she testify in court?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and she was like a really combative, because they kept trying to say, hey, you know, and she says, listen, I saw what I saw. She came forward 3 weeks later because she didn't want to. She was like scared or something. But I mean, you know, but when people do that, you sort of naturally are skeptical. Right, so
yeah, I agree.
So I mean, I get what you're saying, and I'm not saying it's impossible what you're saying. I'm just trying to put into account like a whole bunch of different things, like the disrobing, and where was that? Even if in your scenario when they were partially, he still would have had them completely disrobe, and if he was panicking, then why did he even spend that time getting them to disrobe? So once you go, okay, if he had them disrobe all the way, if they were partially going across, then of course at that point he's continuing on with whatever his fantasy was, and it lasted longer. And this thing lasted for an hour and a half total. Like, he takes him down the hill at 2:15, and if you believe Muddy and Bloody, that's 3:57. I mean, we're looking at almost 2.75 hours, and everybody goes, "Oh man, how could anybody do a crime like that fast?" And it's like, what in the hell are you talking about? That's a ton of time. Even your time is a lot of time. I mean, 3:50, even 40 minutes is a long time. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, I believe he was, and I'm looking at your overhead map, and there are trees. There is forest that run parallel to that.
Well, it's right here.
The trail.
Well, now that we're looking at it right here,
he could have taken all the way back to that bridge, that first bridge.
Yeah, except on the left it's complete bank, and on the right it's steep all the way too. So yeah, I mean, right. When you look at out here, he could have gone through the woods back, but he'd have to make his way to the trail at some point, exposing himself to really close contact viewing. Like, he could have been walking and there'd be somebody right there looking at him, instead of on a road where somebody's driving by at 30 miles an hour. So, I don't know. I'm not sure tactically if that would be smart, but he doesn't seem like a genius.
So, is there any testimony as to, after that Betsy left, they were the only three in the park at that point, correct?
For a little bit there.
You got Bridge Guy and the two girls.
That's it. And then Brad drove by.
When is the next time somebody claims to have been in that on that trail?
Brad Weber. He drove by at 2:25 on that road, 2:28, or on the private drive, and that's why the defense is trying to implicate him now, because he got off of work at 2:02, and then he drives by right at the corner above that little area, that we talk about, and that's what.
Oh yeah.
So he drives by.
Is there anybody that was there after between 3 and 3:15?
Well, Cheyenne was at the beginning of the bridge around 3:15. They made it then at 3:40. I think she's on the other side. That's what I remember. 3:49. There was some kind of uploads or something to Snapchat. So 3:15. Apparently, she was on the first part of the bridge. But like I'm saying, if she was already crossing, and your theory, he would come out behind her through the woods and just get on the trail, and she might not have looked. But she does have a photograph around 3:15 that's pointing in that exact direction. We were just looking at that earlier on the show. This one. Yeah. Although, let's see. Yeah, I mean, you can actually see back there. Wouldn't that be amazing? You see this little guy ducking back. But I'm showing it right now. This is one of her photographs. There's the barricade back there. This is platform 1 on the left. So it shows you how far away she was, Betsy Blair in the background, when he's standing on this platform. But yeah, that's there you go.
Yeah.
Well, interesting
all right, Gray,
theory.
Well, it was good talking to you. I know you got other calls, so I'll let you go and.
Well, thanks for working through stuff. That was fun. I like doing that. That was good. That was fun.
Yeah.
Appreciate your theory. All right, have a good one. See ya.
Take care. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Okay, bye.
All right. Yeah, so that was fun. I like doing look, because there's a lot of stuff I just know. Like I can, I don't know, some stuff I can just immediately say, I don't think that can be because of this. For example, there was nobody searching at 3:57. There was nobody that it could have been there long enough to get muddy or something, at that point, looking for them. Do you think? Hey, thank you up there to Lisa Valenzuela and Karen. Thanks, Karen. I think the mods need to start getting paid. Oh, I haven't. Have you guys been deleting a lot of people? I haven't seen 90% of the comments in it. Well, I don't even see any deleted comments. Well, there's a couple here. Let's see. You know, these people like that G. Hunt guy that showed up in here that say, he managed to do all of that and leave no DNA behind? Either he's a criminal mastermind or a crime scene techs are morons. I'm going with the latter. Well, how about this? Whoever did it then was a genius, right? Because there was nothing there. I think it's hilarious when people, and by the way, I would say a ton of crime scenes have no DNA at them. A ton of them. This is just one of those. Everything else matches. Richard Allen is the bridge guy. All right, everybody, we got to do our nightly going over this really quick. It's very simple, everybody. For those out there who haven't seen this yet, if you've been on another planet or hidden away in a closet somewhere and you haven't seen this, well, you'll see it right now. All right? This right here are... So, we all know this, that Richard Allen told 2 time stories. One of his stories was that he got there at 3:30. Well, there was another one. He said 3. He got there at 1 and left at 3, but then that was changed. He changed it himself to 1:30 and 3:30 to Dan Doolin. And then when he was arrested 5.5 years later, he said he got there at 12 and left at 1:30. Well, these girls right here, these 3 girls that are right there, there's actually 4, so pretend that there's 4 spheres. They're walking like this. They're at the bridge at 12:43. So this is well before Abby and Libby got there, but this is right in the middle of the time of his secondary time frame from 12 to 1:30. But we know that they probably were here because they came in from this direction, so they were probably over here on the Freedom Bridge by like at 12:20, which is right in the thick of Richard Allen's 12 to 1:30 time. So they walked all the way over to this bridge slowly. They might have even been here before noon because they were just barely moving around, hanging out, taking pictures. But even then, they're at the bridge at 12:43, and they must have got there. Also, they didn't see a Richard Allen look-alike at all. They didn't see anything. Then at 1:26, they're right here at a bench taking a photograph. And there's a time code on it of 1:26. Then they're at the bench, and then a vehicle matching Richard Allen's 2016 black Ford Focus drives by the Hoosier Harvest Store right there at 1:27. And then he says he parks at an old building over there, and that's the only old building to park at. It wasn't downtown because his explanation was kind of like over in this area right here. That's the only building. Then he gets out of the vehicle. And you know what's weird, you guys? I don't care that people even say they saw a car backed in at the abandoned CPS building. I never even mention it because I don't give a damn. He said he did. So he parked at an old building. He gets out, and he said he walked to the Freedom Bridge. And then after going past the Freedom Bridge, he passes 3 girls, those same 3 girls. So those girls cleared the entire first hour and a half that he claimed later that he was out there from 12 to 1:30, and now they are saying when they're leaving, they see him. And that's probably right around 1:33 to 1:45 because he got out of his car and he walks this direction, and then he passes those girls, and they both admit to seeing each other. Then Richard Allen continues down, and it takes 11 minutes. I've timed it. Let's just say it was 10. He gets out and he walks this direction. He's walking quickly, so he gets there in 10 minutes to the start of the bridge, and that would make it 1:30. Let's see, 1:43 to 1:45 at the very earliest. And then, as we can see right here, let me back it up a little bit. So there's Richard Allen heading to the start of the bridge, and then here comes Betsy Blair in the red car. Let me get rid of my face up here. I'm blocking the shot. So the red car right there is Betsy Blair, and she goes underneath Old State Road 25, looks up and sees those 4 girls. Back here, when Richard Allen passed the girls, he only saw 3 of the 4 girls. There isn't some magically a whole set of different people. So he walked by, and he's going this way, and then here comes Betsy Blair, and then she goes by the same Hoosier Harvest Store right there at 1:46. And that's right, 2 minutes or so after the time Richard Allen gets to the front of the bridge. Then she parks her car, and then Betsy Blair gets out. Now, Richard Allen did not go sprinting back this way so that he could get to his car and nobody saw him. And you know how we know that? Is because when Betsy Blair walks down there, she gets in this direction, and let me just say this. 2 minutes after Betsy Blair got there, Abby and Libby are dropped off, so they're walking, but they're walking slower. Then Betsy Blair gets to the bridge, and guess what? She sees the same man that the 3 girls saw, because they all described the person as being bridge guy. Richard Allen himself said he was wearing jeans, a dark blue or black Carhartt jacket with a hoodie and some sort of head covering, and that he was standing on platform 1. When Betsy Blair got there, that's exactly what she saw the person wearing, and he was standing on platform 1. Her description was a little off, because was Betsy Blair 50 feet from the first platform like she said in court by her memory? No. She was 111 feet because she turned around at the barricade. It's 111 feet, and that's why her memory just isn't that great. However, she said the person looks just like the bridge guy, and guess what? Richard Allen described himself as being bridge guy. So then, after Betsy Blair got there, she turned around, and while heading back to her car, locking Richard Allen into this position over here, she's locking him in, then Abby and Libby pass her, and the next person they're going to see is Richard Allen. And then Betsy Blair goes all the way to the Freedom Bridge, turns around, walks back, and never sees Richard Allen again. And she gets to her car. That means Richard Allen wasn't even to right there. And you know why? Because he's over here following the girls across. He's catching up to them. You know, Abby's saying, you know, he's right behind us, and then don't leave me up here. And, you know, Libby had said, you know, you can go down right here, and then there's nowhere to go, etc. And then he does something to his gun, then he forces the girls down the hill, and then he's right back in this area. Betsy Blair had just taken off. She's completely out of the area. They probably made it down in this little area right there by like 2:22. Then at 2:28, a vehicle driven by Brad Weber drives by on this private drive down there. We can now zoom in on Google Earth, and it's right in this area. So the girls and Richard Allen are right there. Abby and Libby, Richard Allen, and this van drives by. The only living person left on the planet that knows that that vehicle drove by that isn't Brad Weber is Richard Allen. Okay, Richard Allen is the only person that's living that knew that that drove by. That's why him saying that in court is so important. Then from right here, the girls are taken across the creek by Richard Allen, and then he says he killed them. He made sure, waited until they died. He covered them with sticks, and then he left. And then he said he stayed off the trails, which means, you know, that's not a trail right there. And then he made it out to a road, he said, something like that. And then he went to his vehicle parked at a building. I mean, so it's like, yeah, here's the building over here. There's no trails up in there either. And I think he made it up to this area through the cemetery. And he's up here, and let's just say that Sarah Carbaugh's story is true. She said when she was driving by, there was a group of people standing there at 3:57. Those are the people showing up to search for Abby and Libby. Then she keeps driving like this, and then passes the Muddy and Bloody guy. Well, guess what? Muddy and Bloody guy is going to walk this way and see that there's a group of people right here at the parking area, and then they're going to cut across and go up that way. And then they're going to go up like that, and then probably make their way back to the vehicle, because they're sure as hell not going to walk by a pack of people, Muddy and Bloody, you know, just walk down a main road like that. I mean, they started to at the beginning, so right out of the cemetery, they're on the other side. There's even a little, like, ditch over here, I think. What does that say? Yeah, it doesn't really change, but on the other side. So I don't know. I mean, my theory is that from here, he crossed and went over like that. And they didn't get any camera. I remember in court they asked, did you get any, I think they were actually saying on the south side of this building, because amazingly there's a camera right there, but the one they're using is somewhere like over here, facing the road. So that was kind of weird. But anyways, I guess, what do you guys think of that? I mean, how is Richard Allen not bridge guy? Okay, how do you explain it? Because his car drives by at 127. It passes the Hoosier Harvest Store, meaning his 1:30 to 3:30 time is verified, and he's coming from the east. Then he parks his car and he gets out and he passes 3 girls that verify that he was there. And so we know that this is going to be about 1:35, and it all makes sense because 11 minutes later he'd be at the bridge, and then here comes Betsy Blair, who then parks and she gets out, and now he cannot get out of this position now. You'd have to believe another person looking just like Richard Allen somehow came out of the woods, and then he went into the woods. And then this person, Betsy Blair, gets to the bridge, and there he is. Except this other person not only was wearing the same thing that Richard Allen was wearing, he was also standing on platform 1. Man, what a miracle. It's incredible. And he even said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. I mean, so that's all the way through this entire time. You know, like, that's almost right when he left. And you know what's amazing, you guys? 3:30 is when he likely left the crime scene. Ish, you know, right around that time. And then he makes his way up to the road, and then he's seen by Sarah Carbaugh. Anyways, I think that's all I got, man. How long have we been on there? 2 hours and 32 minutes. Alright, okay. We gotta get some more channel members in here, you guys. There's a lot of people that have their white names. Become channel members. You can use all the cool emojis, etc. You're about to block? Yeah. Who? Which person? Looks like a duck, talks like a duck. Chances are it's a duck. Yeah, I'm just saying, can somebody point to something? Now here, let me show you guys something. The only out that Richard Allen has on this is right here, watch. So watch the blue dot. It's coming down. It makes it to the bridge. Betsy Blair comes out, sees him. And then right now, let's say Betsy Blair, because the girls are walking really slow. They got to the bridge right around 2 o'clock. But let's say Richard Allen right now passes the girls, and he goes out like this, and he's far enough behind Betsy Blair that she never sees him. So when she's about right there, he's about here, and then he comes out there, and he goes over there. The reason that doesn't work is that would be like 2 o'clock, 2:05, okay? It doesn't work. He said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. So that didn't happen. And also, you know, he didn't say that he passed Abby and Libby when he left. Why didn't he say that? See, he didn't say that because he doesn't want to be connected to them. And so that's his only out in that little pattern there, was that right after Betsy Blair, he could have followed Betsy. You know what makes a lot of sense? Somebody brought it up a while ago, and I kind of dismissed it. Didn't sound quite right, but watch this. Betsy Blair gets there, and he starts following Betsy Blair about right now, and then he passes Abby and Libby, and then he's already standing right here, and he waits, and now he watches them, because remember he said he like followed them, so he was going to follow her, but then he stopped there, and then he watches them, so he makes it to about right where I have it, maybe a little farther up, and he watches, then he goes after him. See that? He goes after him, and then they make it to that corner. Then they're interrupted. Then he takes them across to the crime scene. Hey, thanks so much, Ozzy, Trisha. Richard Allen is bridge guy. End of story. Yeah, I'm gonna I think every single night though I have to go over this because I always get new people, and they go, "Wow, when you see it like that, it has to be him," because it is. I mean, that's the weird part about it. The reason it has to be him is because he is the guy. That's why he looks just like the bridge guy. Because he is the guy. Isn't that weird? I mean, I know it's strange, everybody. He looks like the bridge guy because he, in fact, is that guy. You can see it right here. That's my little picture of him put into the image. But look at that right there. Just kind of squint your eyes and go, wow. Okay. That's him. And as a matter of fact, you could probably make him smaller on the right and kind of slide him over, because it's the way he's at an angle because of the line on the bridge. But look at that right there. That's him. And let's go back to that. That's him. Look at that. This is Richard Allen. Does he look like the same meek little wimpy guy that you see now? Look at that. No chance. He doesn't look like that. And somebody today said, don't put Kathy's face up there. Well, listen, her face is all over the place. She just took a picture with Rick Snay and that Noe wacko, and they put the picture out on the internet. So she's out there, okay? Now it's fair. I used to never put her out there, but I don't care anymore. It's just part of the case. So look, that looks like Bridge Guy, right? I mean, he had the little goatee, everything. He's a lot stronger. I mean, look at that one. Does he look like he's just not able to do anything and feeble? Seriously, just when you look at that picture, does anybody go, oh, wow, that guy, he couldn't. That's just, it's ridiculous. And then that one, bigger. That one. I mean, look at that. It actually looks totally normal in that picture there, Hey, thanks, Tara. What happened to your message? It disappeared. Phil said, see, Gray, I'm not a troll. I support you. Just disagree with you absolutist comments about guilt. Due process matters. Yeah, I believe in due process. My opinion is he's 100% the Bridge Guy. That's my absolutist comment. Okay? I mean, what else am I going to tell you? I'm not on the jury or anything. I said the same thing when Casey Anthony was in court. She did it, right, everybody? I mean, is there anybody out there that doesn't think Casey Anthony killed her daughter? Like, literally? Is there anybody out there that doesn't think O.J. Simpson killed Nicole Brown Simpson? Hell, he wrote a book called If I Did It. This guy didn't write a book called If I Did It. Richard Allen said, I did it. His book was called I Did It. And here's what I did. Richard Allen wrote a book, everybody, called I Did It. That's a good thumbnail. Richard Allen wrote, if Richard Allen book, here it is. If Richard Allen wrote a book, it would be called I Did It. You know why? Because he said he did it. 61 freaking times. And his original confessions sounded like this. When I was told in court, he just said, he was like this. Hey, Kathy, I just wanted to let you know I did it, I did it. Will you still love me, though? Of course. And then he goes, but I did it. I just want to make sure you know. I mean, my God, if you were listening to that, does it sound like he was nuts, you guys? Like a guy that's running around with a... Yeah, Koberger, 100%. Yeah. But I'm going to be covering that one, too. And so if you want, and I actually, in the Koberger case, have a 3D model that I built of the entire house. And the freaks that have been here have seen it. With a camera on the head of a dummy figure that walks around inside the house, and you can see all the different locations. That's some of my better work. Again, though, never seen, because my channel, for some reason, it just doesn't make it into the coolness factor. So why don't you guys come around during that one? It's going to be good. But this one, we're still on this. This is the one where I've been following for, almost 8 years now. And it needs, the truth is Richard Allen is the killer. And whether or not he'll be found guilty or not, I don't know. If he's found not guilty, there'll never be justice for the girls, because there will be no more investigating in the case, because he is the person. He's the only person that the evidence that they have at all points to, and there will never be anybody else. And that's what sucks. So you got all these, just totally irresponsible idiots looking at every angle to try to free a killer. I mean, how sick is that? Great, just because they think different. No, they're doing it for a particular reason. Yeah. This case and the Idaho case always bring out the crazies. That's right. Let's see what we got here. I don't know what that means. Georgia, RG. You're gonna have to type better than that, man. Alright, well anyways, what do you guys think of the show tonight? It was pretty interesting. We got some good callers and, you know, it's good stuff. And, you know, everybody put some prayer hands out there for everybody out there that needs the, you know, just some extra side support, you know, that are going through struggles in their own lives. So if you can throw them out there, that would be cool. As we know, there's a lot of people out there. So thanks everybody. Yeah, cool. Glad you guys liked the show. I know sometimes I piss everybody off and everything, but I do shows every day. Sometimes I'm not in a great mood. But apparently, though, I might be on Nancy Grace coming up here. You know, we actually have a similar thought process in this case, so I'm more than willing to go on there and talk about that. You know, I mean, I've disagreed with her many times, but so what? You know, gotta support this case. All right. Yeah. I guess we'll see. It's too early for me. It's like 6:30 in the morning. My time. I mean, that's ridiculous, man. But hey, we're going to try to do it. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully my brain's working. If there's any issues, it's because I'm not even awake yet. I have no patience anymore, Gray. Mods and freaks. Love you all, but I have to take a break. Come on, Ozzy Trisha. Just watch us. That's all that matters, Ozzy Trisha. Forget the, you know, don't worry about it. We know what we're talking about. That's all that matters. Don't worry about the crazy people that show up. We can just remove them. What about freedom of speech? Well, if your speech is something that annoys the hell out of me, why would I want to keep reading it every day? Yes, everybody, I love going to work. Oh, I used to, but now I have to allow this annoying person to type over and over and over again on a daily basis, so I can't. Screw that, okay? That ain't happening. Yeah. I love reviewing the visual timeline. I personally have seen it at least 25. I know, it's crazy, right? But it's like, you got to show it, though. Because every time you see it, I really believe this, you guys. I'm saying this without trying to... If the prosecution had something similar to this, where it shows the movement, and they would absolutely convince the jury. I sent an email, I said, listen, you guys. I mean, they never respond. That's just the way it is. But I said, you guys need to convince the jury 100% that Richard Allen is bridge guy. 100%. And once that happens, then they're given permission to absolutely believe every single thing else. That the bullet at the crime scene was his. That his confession is totally accurate, and the information given by Brad Weber is 100% accurate, and it just kind of goes all the way through. Because if he is bridge guy, that means he is part of this, and then it just kind of... And there's no if for me, okay? He is bridge guy factually, given the timing and where he'd have to be and where everybody else was walking, not seeing another person like him. He's only right where he says he is at all times. It's crazy. Hey, thanks so much, Ozzy Trisha. Look at that. Gave memberships to SS Psyops. And by the way, thanks so much, Ozzy Trisha. Sometimes on those bleak nights, you know, got a couple of you that jump in there and like, oh, and then there's some support. So it's always cool. So thank you. So we got SS Psyops, Daniel, Edie or something, and B Sir, Weather Whiz. I think that's it. Can you point out Brad where? Yeah, they live right over here. I'll show you. It's not his house, it's his mom's house. I don't know if they still live there, but it was right here. So here's that little area that I always thought was sort of this corner hidden away back here. Not very visible because there's a lot of trees going that way, and there's a whole bunch of trees lined up in there. And so the van would have driven by right here and then went home and parked here. And so, but here's the way it is. If from right there, I've seen pictures. I mean, from right here, you can see the crime scene. So, but even, you know, also from the crime scene, you can kind of see, this is really crappy the way they have this, but the private drive is up there, and you could see there, and there's this tree in this area, and I think she might have been over here, and they were moved behind these trees. I don't know exactly where they were placed on the ground here, but yeah. You got it? Awesome. Well, thanks, Gareth. Gareth H. That's so funny. My brother that passed away when I was in college, his name was Garrett Hughes. So it was an H too. You were Gareth, he was Garrett. But that was 1986. I was 20, he was 22. Hey, thanks, Persephone's Pomegranate. That's why I like your name, Gareth H. Yeah, well, we do a lot of interesting things on this channel, working through cases. It's strange how it's so unappreciated by just the normal viewers. They like to have sort of, I don't know what it is, just kind of like a drama session or something. And like, we do a lot of interesting things. I mean, I actually, in the Idaho 4 case, just like at Delphi, I went to Delphi, but in Idaho 4, I drove over there and I stayed there for a couple days, and I put a camera on my vehicle and drove all around exactly the route behind the buildings and everything. And it's like, wow, you know. What's weird, KK? What are you talking about? Shut up. I've just stumbled across the channel, loving it so far. Hey, very cool, very cool. Yeah, like this case, Idaho 4, Madeline Soto, I think Lisk I'll probably be pretty good at when we finally get to that one, but that's going to be like years from now, I think. It's too complex. You have whatever opinion you want. Just because you are correct doesn't mean people can be annoyed, especially when they want to blame Abby and Libby's family. Yeah, it sucks. Weren't showing up. Oh. I could see Sandisk's comment. I mean, not Sebastian. Well, Sebastian Rogers. I guess I covered that one too. Yeah, I know that one really well. It's just kind of. It's weird that people are still just like digging away, doing nothing. Nobody's contributing or finding out anything. It's just continuing something going because that's all they know. You got to spread your wings out a little bit. Right, he didn't act crazy till after. Well, actually, after his wife called. And then, don't you think it's sort of interesting that their little intern there, he's always around when Richard Allen's acting out? And it's just sort of this camcorder sitting there. That's a little weird, right? I mean, who put that there? I guess it'll probably say, I can't wait. I'm going to get the transcript in this case. Whatever it costs. And then we're going to go through the whole damn thing with the actual words. Do you feel me here? I mean, who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to get the damn actual transcripts of this? Because I guarantee you, we miss so much stuff. Because a lot of people covering this case do not know what's important and thus sort of shorthand things through when there could have been this little minute detail that would make a huge difference. Okay, so I'm 100% going to be getting that. Here's just like your brain filter the bullshit and brings things back to reality. Yeah, I guess that's what I try to do. And I'm not even saying, I think there's a possibility in this case, given the way the defense put out this narrative and the possibility, I think the most likely outcome in this case is a hung jury. The second most likely would be guilty, and then third would be not guilty. Okay? But there's a possibility of all of those things because people are just so CSI oriented and they need to have everything buttoned up, and if you did one mistake here, therefore everything's a mistake, and you know, it's dumb. And that's why you need things like this graphic right here where you have verified times, the 126, the Hoosier Harvest Store cameras, they all verify everything, and Betsy Blair and the girls being dropped off by Kelsey in that same little time frame is so important because Betsy Blair gets there just 2 or 3 minutes before the girls, sees the person on the bridge, and then the girls come and then she passes them. And then what's interesting is the 3 girls show when he's coming in and where he came in at, and that's right near the abandoned CPS building, and he comes on that little path there. So it's just, for me, it just nails it. Unfortunately, there's people out there that, 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2. It's 77. All right. Well, anyways, I think that's going to do it for me, you guys. Appreciate you guys being here. And thank you for the support. We made it to another goal tonight. Thanks to Richard Watts, Karen, Annabella Roma, Andrea, Karen, Nina Armstrong. Thanks, Nina, very much for your calls and support there. And Elaine Talling, and Cheryl Bullock, and Annabella Roma, and Nina Armstrong, and Sandy Shirley. Then Nina Armstrong gifted 5 memberships. Then Mark, and then Nikki N, and then Cheryl, and Laura 60. 49 months for Laura 60. Huh. You don't type that much in here, but that's a long time. 49 months. That's 4 years and something. Then Nina Armstrong, gray, but all the odiness. And then The Myth, then Butler with the candlestick. Then Nina Armstrong again, then Kelly S. Allie K. Then Butler with the candlestick. Then keep an eyes peeled. Keep an eyes peeled. And then Mia Pierce, Mark Anderson, Chapara, Naomi, Chapara again, then Susan Moore, then Michelle H., then Mark Anderson, a new member, then Charles in Charge, a new member, Nina Armstrong. And Nina Armstrong, she had a big chunk in there tonight. Thank you. Then Keeping an Eyes Peeled, and Interstellar Trucker, Annabella Roma, Gareth H. Again. Then Heather Salveson, Sammy Day, Jacqueline Young, Superfly, Nina Armstrong, and then Annabella Roma, then Nina Armstrong again. So, man, without her, we almost wouldn't even have made the goal. It's crazy. But anyways, thank you. And then Crime Files, Susan Wardlaw, and that was a cat eye by Nina, that last one. Then, let's see. Then I gifted 5 memberships. Then My Father Alibi. Then Charles in Charge. Then Tina Humphrey. new member, Tammy, then Penny Amiot, Gloria Batari, Gareth H. Again, thank you very much. Timothy Cecil, Michelle H. Marksy, then Allie Cake, Lisa Valenzuela, Karen, Matt Janovich, Annabella Roma. Well, I think we still would have made it because you guys kicked ass there at the end there, but Kelly S. and then Primal Curiosities, Ozzy Trisha, The Spy Computer from United Emirates. Now that's a long name. Okay, that's almost as long as Crystal, aka Beaver Gaming Sub Crystal. And then Phil, 15 months. Then Ozzy Trisha, Gifted 5. Then Tara, and then Persephone's Pomegranate right at the end. All right, you guys. Well, thank you all very much for being here tonight. Oh, there's Blue up there. He's hanging out. Not much going on there. Let's see the breathing. 1, 2. You know what I'm pissed off about is they had us giving Blue Lasix for so long that it just hurt his kidneys. But destroyed his kidney. He didn't even need it that long. It should have just been like as needed. You know, if his heart rate goes up, give him Lasix, get the fluid out of there, bing, bing, bing. But we were giving him 2 doses a day for months. And not one time did they call up and say, how's he doing? You know, I mean, just idiots. You know, I think his kidneys would be fine right now, to be honest with you. Yeah, so he's got heart failure and kidney failure, so he's, we just give him certain sort of medicines, and, today seemed like a decent day for him. He can't get upstairs by himself now. Kind of sucks. He makes up a little bit, but I have to go get him and then bring him up to the flat ground, then he can kind of walk. His tail was wiggling a little bit. I think that's Chloe. Her and Gracie have become really good buddies. They wrestle and shit, But poor old Blue, getting old. I don't know how much time he's got, but we're just trying to make him comfortable. As long as he's still eating, I guess. I mean, it's not like he's playing anymore. He doesn't play. He just sort of seems like he's resting. Yeah, I know. When he's breathing too fast, then you got to give him more Lasix. Yeah, I know how it goes. I already got him that one time. Yeah, well, I got those good pictures. Remember the ones I posted in the community section this summer? It looks like a, what do you call it? A gremlin or something, just sitting there. But more like before it became a gremlin. Let me see if I can find that one. you gotta see this thing. Yeah, his breath was 60 breaths a second when we took him in the first time. And then Lasix got him right back to normal. But then they didn't tell us, you don't need to use Lasix forever. It's weird. I don't post a lot in the community, but let's see. Yeah, look at that. This is me sitting on my lap here. Look at this picture right here. And that was this summer. I'll always remember these ones. Look at that. Here, let me download it here. He just loves it out there. When you get the sun on him, man, he's just... Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, you can't see it. Hold on. I hadn't got it set up yet. So there you go. Look at that thing. He's just so little. He's still doing okay around this time. See that? He's just sitting there, and I take my thumbs and I just rub them across his eyes. And he just like passes out. He's so comfortable with the sun beaming on him. And he's just, look at it. I've always had those things on my wrist too, those two. But isn't that amazing? He's so little. He's just, you know. He just loves the sun, man. You get that sun on him. That's why it sucks that it's winter now. I wish he was feeling like this and it was like June. Yeah, he's got those little paws. He almost looks sort of human, you know. Anthropomorphic in this one. Arms are sitting, you know, like those are arms. And yeah, it's a pretty good one. I think that's the one I'll keep. Always have somewhere. Look at it. I got a couple more like that one. I don't know if there's another one that's kind of like it. I don't know. I don't know if it's on there or not. Let's see. This is the one. That's the Gracie one. We just got her. Yeah, I think that's it. Crazy, huh? Yep. Got good 11 years with him. I think he was 2 when we got him. 13. We'll see how it goes, you know. But he's still eating a little bit. I know that. Was that you, Pause, up there? Or you the one that emailed me? I can't remember. Yeah. So. Yeah. Makes me sad. So, anyways, we'll see you guys tomorrow, all right? Thanks for being here, everybody. And as I always say, and by the way, just if you guys want like rational coverage, this is where you want to go. If you want to hear the conspiracy theories and every which way we can get this guy off, then go watch somebody else, because I'm not spending any time how to figure out a way to get a killer of 2 kids off. And yes, he is a killer, okay? Thank you all very much for watching. And, as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another one.
Hey, how's it going?
The freaking
Nectar, and I'm always gonna be a protector.
Fool the
Flector,
interceptor,
and I'll need a little spectre with a vector.
on his pector. With all respect,
Just remember, never take it for conjecture. I have no agenda,
I'm
no
the pretender.
pretender. And I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end,
I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just
All
get right
right,
on.
everybody. Thank you. And be safe out there.
Huh?
Okay, bye.